After having to jump out of a plane in full Call of Duty style, he landed smoothly and immediately saw total chaos breaking loose in the trenches. My guy was spotted by the bloodthirsty freaks and had to run before he got turned into grilled cheese. He found an abandoned house, and inside it, a bow. Even if it is not exactly the best option against fire-spitting monsters, there is a shady-looking crew after him, so he is going with the bow anyway. What I forgot to mention is that he is a total professional with a bow and arrow, and out of every 10 shots, he lands 11 kills. But before we find out how an archer ended up in the middle of a war, let us go back to the day of the archery championship, where our badass MC shocks everyone by hitting the bullseye on every single target. He had a promising future in archery, but life had other plans. Now, he's getting chewed out by his boss. That's the life of a working man. After surviving another day at the office, he heads home and watches old recordings of his past glory. We learn that despite dedicating his life to archery, an accident crushed his dreams. If it weren't for his coach's connections, he'd probably be homeless. To escape his woes, Sungyun watches game streams and finds a cocky, chubby guy failing to hit a boar with 3 arrows, getting roasted in the chat. But even this doesn't lift our hero's spirits, so he shuts the stream and hits the sack. The next day, he's hit with the news that he's getting fired. Things are going from bad to worse for our guy. Lying in bed, all he can think about is his championship days. Then, he gets a notification from his streaming app and has a light bulb moment. If anything's possible in the game, why not try streaming? The next day, at a restaurant, his friend thinks he's nuts for wanting to blow all his cash on gaming. A normal reaction, right? But seeing how clueless he is, they head to a shop selling gaming capsules. Inside, they meet the owner, who suggests trying it before buying. As Sungyun enters the game, the owner tries to stop him from wasting his money, having seen many wannabes end up broke. Little does he know, he's talking to the real deal. Once in the game, Sungyun is blown away by its realism. He freezes for a moment, making them wonder why he hasn't shot yet. The sensations are different, but with his first shot, he scores 10 points, and the rest are all headshots. The kid's so good that the shop owner asks who he is and tells his friend it's a waste to buy a cheap machine. The crafty owner is already trying to upsell. Finally, with the capsule at home, bought at a discount thanks to his sob story, it's time to pick a game to stream. He goes for a medieval classic as a mercenary, but as soon as he enters, he's already bruised and battered in a cart wreck. Ahead, a massive war rages. This game isn't for newbies, and the general orders him to act or die. He reaches the weapon selection menu. Surprisingly, 5 people are watching his stream, and when they see him pick the bow, they warn it's tough because of the game's realism. Still, he chooses it, and when he wonders where his bow is, a guy dies next to him, and the bow lands in his hand. Yeah, this game might have been a bad call. With only 20 arrows, he nails a headshot on the first guy and tells the viewers it'll be all headshots from now on, making them think he's full of himself. But he's a real pro, taking down enemy mercenaries, leaving just the boss fighting the general. The boss has a shield, making it tricky, so he uses his skills to score another kill. He wonders why the chat's so quiet and gets flooded with comments praising him. Technically, it's impossible to kill the boss with one headshot unless the bow's at full power. What they didn't know was our hero was firing his bow at full power every time. When the battle video goes up, fans are buzzing about this amazing archer who never misses. And that's how our guy Amon's story begins. The game community, Era of the Kingdom, was kind of stuck. Players liked it, but it was getting boring with the same old discussions. Then, out of nowhere, a new post appears. A newbie boy, instead of running away, takes down the boss solo and gets praised by his captain. Everyone's shocked, thinking it must be fake because Roman never praises anyone. They can't believe it because this kid just started his account days ago. He's blown away by the comments, never expecting this to happen. He thinks it's great they're talking about him since it boosts his image. But then he's surprised by a comment saying not even Electro, a veteran, could handle that boss so easily. Sangyun remembers Electro because he was a big name among streamers. He's amazed that in just a few days, he's being compared to one of the best. The chat warns that comparing himself to someone so big might be too harsh. Watching all this, Sangyun wonders if it's real. Right then, his phone rings. It's his friend asking if his live stream went well, and the boy confirms it did. His friend checks if there were any issues with the machine, but everything was fine. He asks about views, and the boy says he got 20, surprised by so many for a newbie, curious about what he did to get them, but the boy just says he picked a good game. His friend wonders why he's so talented, and they chat a bit more. The boy says he needs to hang up to prep for his stream, but his friend asks if he's starting at dinner time. The boy says he skipped dinner because this is his job now. His friend smiles, happy for him. Just then, someone calls, asking why he's eating now, and hangs up. Opening the capsule, the boy thinks he should have eaten better, but he wants to start quickly because since joining the community, his heart's been racing. He wonders how long it's been since he felt like this. The attention is amazing. The boy starts his stream, and comments flood in, asking why he's streaming now. Sangyun finds it odd because the comments are flying by. He checks the views, which have shot up, amazed by the numbers. He gets nervous, never having been in this situation, but he takes a deep breath, reminding himself it's just a game, not real life. When he plays, his nerves vanish like magic. He pulls himself together, saying to pick up where they left off, thinking about his friend. He thinks he should never interrupt someone eating. Right then, he gets a message from Sangyun thanking him, saying he'll buy him a drink when they meet. His friend is happy, knowing Sangyun's working hard, always diligent. But he remembers he was going to say something before hanging up but forgot. Just then, someone Someone arrives, saying he has a meeting, confused about what to tell the boy, remembering it was about body optimization. Back to the boy, he mentions researching how streamers handle audiences during controversies before bed. Remembering the tips, he thanks those who were on his last stream. The viewers are surprised he remembers their names, saying he's got fans even late at night, and calling him a genius. Sungyun feels shy, saying calling him a genius is too much. The boy starts getting into the game. He opens his eyes and realizes he's on a horse. He remembers asking Roman to introduce him to his captain, and now he's on a mission. He decides to explain what's happening to his viewers. Just then, he gets a mission to escort a noble, thinking it's no big deal. Sungyun, as a mercenary, didn't expect to be a bodyguard. He's amazed at how real the game feels, like he's really riding a horse. His captain asks if it's his first time on a horse. Sungyun admits he's only ridden a few times, surprised he's talking so naturally to an NPC. Roman tells him to get used to it, smiling and saying he'll be doing it more often. The chat is shocked because Roman is smiling, something they've never seen before. While riding, a viewer asks about the mission, wondering if it's the one with bandits on horseback. Suddenly, they spot a group of bandits coming to rob them. The boy is shocked because the bandits really attack. His viewers are excited to see him in action again. Sungyun realizes some viewers like him, while others want him to fail, which is normal in sports. He notes the bandits are fast and numerous. He prepares to shoot his arrow, wondering why mercenaries always lose. He shoots and hits their leader perfectly. The viewers are amazed, and the boy wonders what's going on. The chat points out he just took down their captain, but Sungyun says it was luck and keeps going because the fight isn't over. Sungyun fires arrows one by one, each hitting a target. Seeing his skills, the bandits start to flee, but he can't let them escape. Roman orders him to finish them all. The system updates his mission to defeat all the bandits. Meanwhile, someone is watching his live stream, curious about who he is. The viewer, a top streamer named Acorn Jelly, is surprised by Sungyun's skills with a bow and arrow. It's unusual because a headshot isn't usually enough, so he wonders if it's a perfect shot. In the game, a critical hit means instant defeat, but only at a certain level. Even a boss can't be taken down with one hit. However, there's a hidden skill called a perfect shot, unknown to most players. The protagonist seems to land perfect shots every time. The viewer suspects he might be using hacks, but that's unlikely since no one would cheat in this game. Checking the boy's profile, the viewer is surprised to find he's new to the platform. Back to Sungyun, still chasing the bandits. Roman suggests using a short-range weapon for better hits. The boy agrees but prefers his bow. Roman understands and believes the protagonist will succeed. Sungyun thinks he's never ridden a horse or hit a moving target before. Holding his arrow, he knows his hands tremble, but he can't give up. He shoots and hits the back of a bandit's neck, surprising his live stream viewers with his accuracy. The boy thought he was aiming for the head but hit the neck instead. Even though he took out the target, he wasn't happy. Focused, he shoots again and nails the bandit's head. Roman, seeing Sungyun's quick work, is amazed, calling him an incredible archer. The other mercenaries agree, saying they've never seen such skill. His viewers are shocked too, noting they've never seen the mercenaries act like that, and they comment on the boy's talent. Just then, a donation pops up from someone named Acorn Jello, praising the shot. The system tells him he completed the mission. A noble approaches, complimenting Sungyun, and saying he'll remember his name. Sungyun notices it's his first donation and thinks the donor must be famous since his chat is excited about the streamer. The chat urges him to say something because a streamer just donated. Sungyun is puzzled because his chat asked him to donate. Then the viewers tell him to react with his bow, so he shoots an arrow into the sky. The chat questions why he did that, saying it wasn't special. But then, the arrow hits his own head. The viewers burst into laughter, not expecting him to take himself out. Leaving the capsule, Sungyun wonders why the arrow bounced back, noting the capsule was hot, probably because it's an older model. The chat, seeing the stream end, asks why he stopped. He messages them, saying he left because the capsule was too hot. The viewers ask him to come back and keep playing. Sungyun thinks his reactions were better than expected. He reflects on a comment about his talent, thinking it should be good for a streamer, and that he liked when things got interesting. Ending the broadcast, the viewers are surprised he stopped right after getting a donation from a top streamer. Checking the streamer's profile, Sungyun thinks he's really famous. Watching a video, he finds him amazing and likes the other videos too. Wondering why such a streamer was on his broadcast, he gets a message from him. Acorn Jelly is not only a pro in Kingdom Age, but also an all-rounder. He messages Sungyun, saying he likes him and suggesting they record together someday. Sungyun considers how to respond because he wants to be known, and collaborating would be a big help. He reflects that it's tough without anyone to help him think. Just then, his friend calls. Juyuk says he saw the broadcast and asks if his name is Ahmed. Sungyun confirms. Juyuk asks about his reaction to the donation. Sungyun says he's an archer and should stay calm, mentioning he's been called a genius since he was little, so he's just using that. He asks if Juyuk called just to say that, but Juyuk has more to share. He just quit his job. Sungyun asks why, and Juyuk explains he argued with his boss, saying he tolerated him for too long because he was an idiot. Now, he plans to be Sungyun's manager and is excited to work with him. Recalling the first time Sungyun used the capsule, Juyuk Juyuk thought he really liked archery and wanted to find out what he liked too. Sungyun says if Juyuk helps him, his career might be ruined, but Juyuk assures him not to worry because taking a year off isn't a problem, and if it works out, it'll be great. Sungyun mentions starting work tomorrow, and Juyuk is surprised about the collab with the top streamer. Sungyun asks if it's really okay, and Juyuk says they shouldn't miss the chance. Sungyun admits he's not good at impressing people, but Juyuk tells him to leave it to him because he has a plan. Cut to a building in daylight, where a girl is checking out the main character's profile, wondering if she could really meet him there. Jelly says she picked the boy because he seemed promising but forgot he was still a star. The girl then mentions he almost lost it when he did a collab with another streamer, making the blonde feel awkward. Jelly says his physics skills were top-notch in the country, and helping him would be a smart move. The girl asks if he met him in person, and Jelly surprises her by saying he hasn't. She irritably says he can only complain after his broadcast flops. Just then, someone arrives asking if he was Jelly. It's the protagonist, introducing himself. They're taken aback by the boy's looks. Jelly stands up, greets him, and says his name too. Jamek notices another guy behind the protagonist and asks who he is. It's the streamer's friend and agent, who introduces himself and hands over a card. Seeing Juyuk's card, they're shocked because he worked with big companies. He downplays it, asking who the girl next to him is. The girl says she's just a manager, can't compare to him, and looks forward to working together. Starting the meeting, Jamek points out the broadcast sequence on the table and says they should discuss any needed adjustments. After some discussion and tweaks, they wrap up the meeting. But before leaving, Jamek wants to talk money, but the protagonist cuts him off, saying he's new to this and needs help, so no payment needed. Jamek says it's not necessary, and the girl mentions a party later. Sungyun is about to speak, but Juyuk interrupts, saying some compensation would be nice. Jamek suggests giving half of the broadcast donations to the protagonist. Juyuk is surprised by the offer. Later, Juyuk says they got half the broadcast value, noting the minimum donation on his channel was 2 million last month. Juyuk tells the protagonist he has something for him and plays an audio recording of the meeting. Sungyun asks why he needs it, but the guy says it's just for security. Juyuk talks about profits, saying if he made 300 a month, he only wants 20% of the extra. The boy says he's not even making minimum wage and asks if it's really okay, but his friend says he has some savings. Later, the protagonist is home starting a live stream. A viewer mentions hearing rumors about a deal with Jelly, asking if it's true. Sungyun thinks the rumors are spreading, noticing more viewers than usual. Deciding not to comment, he says he knows nothing and announces they'll take down the bandit leader today. But his chat warns bosses don't die with one shot. The protagonist is confused since he beat a boss with one shot before. A viewer clarifies it wasn't a boss but an elite mob, saying a boss is much bigger. Sungyun realizes he shouldn't have bragged about that mob. Just then, a mission pops up for him to kill the boss with one shot. He accepts, thinking it's impossible but worth it for the big reward that could attract more donors. Suddenly, donations pour in, and he thanks everyone, promising to do his best. Sungyun enters the game, but a girl calls him, thanking him for saving her from bandits, and unsure how to repay him. Sungyun thinks she's the game's heroine, noting a wrong answer could change the story. Two response options appear, say it's his job or ask for payment. He picks the first, saying it's his job. The girl thanks him, and a viewer says he started playing the game because of her. Some viewers think Rosanita was way better. Sungyun guesses that's the second heroine's name, and right then, his captain shows up. Emilia mentions there might still be bandits around and asks Roman to send soldiers, so he agrees. Soon after, the main character is on the mountain watching the bandits. Roman whispers they'll attack all at once. Sungyun finds it more intense than expected since the game's sensations feel almost real. Just then, the mercenaries attack. The bandits are caught off guard, wondering where they came from. One bandit gets a headshot as he stands, and his buddy is taken out soon after. The protagonist keeps supporting, picking them off one by one, but they spot him and send someone after him. The system then says he's unlocked a new shooting skill. Sungyun tests it, hitting every bandit perfectly. His viewers are shocked, wondering if the skill was useless, but the boy is thrilled, saying the bow's better than he thought. The viewers are amazed, calling him awesome. Just then, he gets a donation asking if he has a girlfriend. Embarrassed, he admits he doesn't. Sungyun thinks it's fun, not just for the money, but because the game's amazing. Roman arrives, praising Almond, saying he's close to being the best in the kingdom. Another donation asks why it ended, and where the boss is. The boy remembers, but a mercenary calls the commander, pointing out the boss's corpse. Seeing the boss's body, viewers are stunned. Sungyun's bummed the mission isn't marked complete, but he gets a donation from Jelly, matching the mission's reward, calling it a perfect shot. Viewers are surprised Jelly's back, and the protagonist asks about the perfect shot. Jamek's upset because he wanted to prove the skill exists, asking the protagonist to explain. He's shocked when the boy asks about the skill. Jamek donates again, asking if the protagonist didn't know about it, and the boy confirms he didn't. Jelly says Sungyun used the skill without knowing, amazed at his genius. Donating again, Jelly confirms the perfect shot is real and suggests recording together the next day. Viewers mention rumors of their collaboration. Sungyun thinks he should play it cool, considering the offer. Viewers say if he refuses, he's doomed. Then he gets another donation saying if he proves the skill, they'll donate again. Sungyun agrees to the offer. Jamek thanks him and says he'll get in touch. The chat's excited about the collaboration, but Sungyun expected it, thinking Jelly would hype the skill. Viewers notice Sungyun got over 100k in donations and didn't react, but he mentions Jelly left alive. Sungyun thinks he beat a boss and promoted his live, so it's the perfect time to end it. He shoots an arrow up, thanking for the donation, and it lands on his head. The boy's relieved since the capsule's hot, but he's worried about ending lives by dying, feeling it's affecting him. Just then, Jiyuk calls, saying they'll meet tomorrow, asking where. Sungyun says they'll talk online, but Jiyuk reminds him of their agreement. They decide where to meet. Sungyun thinks he should check reactions to his live stream. Once again, his viewers were shocked because he wrapped up the stream by dying. But then, Sungyun spots a video of him taking down the boss with just one shot. The comments buzz about it, but someone mentions everything will be clear during his collab with Jamek. Just then, Sungyun gets a call. Jiyuk asks if he saw the YouTube video, which had over 40,000 views. The boy notes they didn't have an account there. However, Jamek posted a video about their collab on his channel. Watching the video of the protagonist beating the boss, someone wonders if that skill is real, realizing he played like a pro even as a newbie. Everyone who watched the video was hyped for the collab day. The next day, Acorn Jelly's views hit a record high on YouTube. We see Jamek mention they're about to start the live stream and check if the boy is ready. Usually, at the start, 3,000 to 4,000 people tune in, so he doesn't need to show up yet. But as the stream kicks off, about 10,000 people are watching. The guy is blown away by the view count. Sungyun, watching Jelly, thinks he interacted with viewers while waiting for more to join. Jamek asks who saw the YouTube video, mentioning a special guest and an interview. Most importantly, they prove the perfect shot skill is real. Jelly, noticing more viewers, says the boy will introduce himself, calling him Ahmed. Then the protagonist introduces himself, stating his name. The chat is surprised, asking why he's so handsome, saying all sorts of things about him. Jamek says he's really handsome, mentioning he was also surprised when he saw him. But viewers claim it's fake, asking if he's using something to enhance his looks. Jelly asks if they should start with gameplay or the interview, but everyone wants to play. The guy tells them to chill because they have a guest, and the protagonist is surprised by the fast-moving chat. Jelly says he got all the opinions, asking if they can start now, and the boy agrees. Jamek asks about the optimization code, leaving the boy puzzled, asking what that is. The guy is shocked because he didn't use a code to optimize his capsule. Sungyun asks if it's important, and Jamek thinks he really doesn't know, not believing the boy played all that time without optimizing the capsule and wondering if that's even possible. Cutting to the protagonist's friend, Jiyuk remembers he forgot to tell Jelly something. He whispers, saying our hero really doesn't know since he didn't mention it to him. Jamek says he felt embarrassed for himself, saying the protagonist bought a second-hand capsule and was just playing without knowing anything, leaving viewers completely surprised. One viewer asks if that's why he would suddenly end the live stream, and the boy confirms, saying that happened every time he died, but Jelly asks how he kept playing even after dying. But the truth is he never died. He just shot an arrow at his head, so the streamer says he's a real genius. Convinced, the protagonist says he thought so too. Jelly thinks that boy was someone everyone wanted to be, mentioning he had a knack for dealing with people, so he was perfect for live broadcasts. At this moment, Jamek suggests they create an optimization code first. Inside the capsule, the protagonist receives the optimization code, thinking it was faster than expected. Jamek notices he's done, and Sungyun asks if that's how the virtual space should be because he couldn't feel his body, but he confirms, saying that's his conscious world. With a smile, the guy says everything's set, so they should use the perfect shot. Entering the game, Roman says he'll explain the objective, saying Lady Amelia assigned them another mission. A goblin cave is near the farmers, so the group must find it and eliminate them, mentioning it's been a while since they got a mission like that, telling them to have good results. Jamek says he should know how to use the perfect shot because the game has a vital points system where you imagine a circle where you want to shoot the arrow, but that's one of the conditions to activate the skill. Sungyun asks about the second condition, but Jelly says it's tough because you have to nail the first condition while doing the other. The protagonist looks at Jelly and says he gets it, leaving Jelly shocked as if it was no big deal. Just then, Jelly gets a smack on the head. Roman asks what he's up to since they just got there. Jamek apologizes, but the captain warns him not to answer unless he wants to be split in half. Annoyed, he asks where the mercenary is from, but when he sees the protagonist, his mood flips, saying they have a good mission ahead. Later, in the goblin cave, Jamek asks if they're ready for the perfect shot, but gets smacked again. Roman tells him to pipe down if he wants to help, telling Amen to lead and show the newbie. Sungyun watches the goblins, thinking it's easier now since his character is optimized and the discomfort is gone. He starts aiming at the monsters, setting up a perfect shot. Jamek wonders if he'll shoot from there, thinking it seems impossible, but he can handle it. He nails the goblin's head. The boy keeps shooting, taking them down one by one. Jelly thinks it's amazing because he's better than before, even making his shots quieter for the ambush. Plus, his physique is impressive. It's like he's the star of his own show. The system says he's defeated all the irregular goblins. Roman praises him, surprising Jelly because where all the mercenaries had to team up, he did it solo. Jamek asks if they saw the perfect shot skill, but the chat says it was just a headshot, not the same as just dying. The mercenaries start setting the cave on fire to block the goblins, but they hear a noise from deep inside. Those scarlet eyes are watching, and a giant goblin appears, scaring the mercenaries. The system tells the protagonist to take out the champion goblin. The spectators wonder if he can do it with just a headshot. Roman tells them to get ready. The goblin tries to attack Jelly, who tells Amon to remember the first condition of the skill, saying it's the perfect time to use it. But the chat wonders why he stopped. The protagonist thinks it's tricky because the goblin has an iron mask, so the forehead is out, wondering if he should aim elsewhere. But the head is the vital spot and easiest to hit. Sungyun shoots an arrow upwards, confusing the spectators, who ask if he's trying to end the broadcast. But that's not his plan, and the arrow hits the goblin's nape. Everyone's shocked, asking if he killed it. Then, the goblin drops to the ground. Chaos erupts because his wild move worked. He gets a donation congratulating him for completing the mission. The protagonist thanks for the donation and gets bombarded with more congratulations. Later, he exits the capsule. Jamek is thrilled, saying he really did it. But the girl mentions the server was overloaded, so the broadcast cut off, but the guy already knew, saying it was due to the chat and donations. Juyu can't believe the live ended because of donations and suggests continuing the interview to earn more. Jamek tells them to keep going, but the protagonist asks to wait because his head hurts. But the girl insists he's fine, so they restart the live. Jelly does his catchphrase while the chat goes wild about the skill used. The protagonist says he didn't know about the perfect shot, but they start getting tons of donations, and Jelly tells them to hold on because he can't read them all. Later, Jamek keeps thanking for the donations. Juyuk is amazed because over 40 people donated, but there's more to come, and a spectator donates 1 million, leaving everyone speechless. Even his own chat can't believe it. Jamek says it's the first time he's seen anything like that. The donor's message said the main guy was super handsome and encouraged him to keep it up. Jelly felt awkward about the message, but the main guy was flattered. The same viewer sent another donation, telling Jelly not to be jealous. Seeing the comments, Jamek suggested they get back to the interview. He mentioned he had a list of 4 questions and asked what they were about. Sungyun answered one, saying he didn't use any skincare products, which made Jelly mad that he was answering such questions. The main guy found it thrilling, saying this was the fun part of being a streamer. Later, the broadcast wrapped up. The girl mentioned the capsule was hot because it lacked a cooling system, but Sungyun said his home capsule was the same. Sungyun checked if everything was okay, and Jamek suggested streaming from home would be nice. Juyuk thanked them for their hard work and said it was the first time he got such reactions, giving them a gift. Watching his friend, Sungyun thought Juyuk was a business genius. Then Jamek showed the live results on a tablet, shocking everyone with a total of 5 million. Sungyun asked if he usually made that much, but he said no, it was his first time earning so much. If they split it, it would be nearly 3 million each. Both thanked him, but Jamek said it wasn't needed. He mentioned that even earning that much was a jackpot, saying it wasn't the main income. Juyuk asked how he made money, and the guy explained that ads were the main source, and revenue depended on visitors. He also brought in third-party ads, mostly game or product sponsorships. Juyuk said it was like being a celebrity, and the girl agreed, saying beautiful people get 90% or more of donations, and since he was like that, there was no other way to act. Watching the main guy, the girl said it was just her opinion, but he really seemed like a celebrity. Sungyun thanked her but said he wanted to be a streamer. The girl said she got it, mentioning she was just talking about ways to earn more. Jamek said while streaming, it was important to boost outside activities. He mentioned a guy named Horn who streamed games but also did entertainment lives, appearing in the media like a celebrity. For most YouTubers, that was their main income, saying they could think of lives as communication. The girl suggested he start doing that, mentioning they were in the same niche, but in videos, an editor was key because it mattered a lot on the platform. Jamek asked Juyuk if he had ever edited, but he said he hadn't. Then Jelly said he should find someone, and Juyuk thanked him for the tip. Later, Jamek thanked them for their help, saying they'd do it again. Jelly thought the main guy was way ahead of him, saying he was envious. Cutting to the main guy, Sungyun thanked Juyuk for taking him home, but his friend called him, saying he seemed too focused on YouTube, telling him not to rush. He assured the boy was talented and would succeed no matter what. Sungyun smiled, thanking Juyuk. The boy walked home, saying it was freezing. Remembering the stairs froze, he worried his grandma might slip. He said he earned 2 million that day and his friend didn't take a cent. Sungyun said money was money, but it was a blast, saying he'd keep doing it. His hand hadn't shaken once. That car accident stayed in his mind, not just for him but for his grandma too, remembering when she cried secretly. His right arm was more than a bad memory. It was a hated presence that hurt his grandma, yet it was always with him. But now, with that right arm, he could finally use a bow again, saying it was amazing because he was surrounded by great people helping him. With tears, the boy said it felt felt like they were sent by his grandma. Sungyun wipes away his tears, promising to try his best, though he worries it might be too late. He recalls his grandmother's advice to never say it's too late and to keep pushing forward. He regrets she isn't around to see his efforts. Later, Jamek checks out the comments on his video, noting it was a perfect shot. Jelly chimes in, saying the reactions were expected and asks if it's the first time a post from that game hit the community's top 10. The girl wonders why he's checking it out. Curious about the video's quality, the boy downplays it. The girl clarifies she wasn't talking about the video but the editor. Jelly, watching, is surprised at how seriously the protagonist took it, as if the sky was lending a hand. Back to the protagonist, fresh from a bath, he plans his next steps, recalling 2 types of streamer models. He talks about them, favoring being called a celebrity. He remembers Juyuk echoed Jelly's thoughts and realizes he needs an editor. He notes YouTube brings in good money but requires skilled editors, thinking he should scout talent from popular game videos. He stumbles upon a trending video, shocked to see himself in it. Recognizing the channel name, he recalls the person who donated millions during a live stream. Impressed by the editing, Sungyun thinks it looks like a movie, surprised by his own gameplay, and wonders if it was really him. Reading the positive comments, he decides to contact the editor. Just then, Juyuk messages, saying he found an amazing editor, and asks if he should hire him. Sungyun questions how they could afford it, but Juyuk assures him it's the manager's job. Sungyun agrees, saying it would be rude not to focus on the game with such a capable manager. Inside the capsule, Sungyun feels confident but admits he's not as physically fit as other streamers, realizing training is crucial. The system asks for the difficulty level, and he picks the hardest. Later, Sungyun notes it took him 3 hours to finish, feeling hungry and ready to start the broadcast. But first, he wants to eat, remembering it's time for the video collaboration reactions. About to go live, Sungyun feels a bit nervous. Meanwhile, a random guy complains about bringing a fantasy game that flopped, despite good reviews. He considers holding an event to attract users but knows it's tough with a non-selling game. He wonders how to revive it, then sees a video of Sungyun, amazed by its quality and the player's skill. Realizing the account was just created, he notes the boy's talent for gaming and broadcasting, plus his good looks. Checking the protagonist's channel, he sees a live stream starting, surprised by the 1,000 viewers joining instantly. Juyuk, watching the live, thinks that breaking the 4,000 viewer mark means the boy could stream full-time. Viewers are frustrated by the protagonist's silence, asking what's up. Sungyun remembers the collaboration with Jamek got 50,000 views, meaning they did well, and now he must handle things solo. He starts the stream, greeting viewers and saying they'll keep playing. The chat asks why his voice sounds odd and when he'll get a camera to show his face. At that moment, Juyuk sends a link, surprising the boy with an ad made for him. He loves it, and Juyuk tells him to turn on the camera. Turning on the facecam, the chat suggests he should always use it during live streams. Donations start rolling in, calling the protagonist very handsome. Switching to the game, Amelia mentions hearing about the protagonist's skills, saying he easily handled the goblins that troubled them. Sungyun notes he didn't do it alone, but the girl grabs his hand, saying she heard it from Captain Roman himself, surprising viewers since she was close to him. Amelia then says she has another mission for him. The protagonist wonders if she should ask the captain first, but Amelia insists she wants him to do it solo. Pointing to a mountain castle, she tells him to go there and kill the lord in charge. This shocks the protagonist, who asks if the lord leaves the castle often. The girl says no and that he must sneak in. Viewers are stunned, thinking she practically sent him to his doom. The girl smiles, confident he can do it. The system asks if he'll accept the mission, leaving him pondering. Switching back to the other guy, he recalls playing the game before, finding this arc impossible due to the need to scale walls and the advanced AI. Worse yet, the castle lord, fully armed, is a nightmare for a Bao user. Saying Amund is handsome and skilled, but that's not enough in this industry. The boy accepts the mission, surprising his viewers. Sungyun thinks he has a plan, noting if the game is realistic, medieval castles wouldn't be huge, with likely fewer than 50 people. He wonders why she'd order a kill, and though she's just a game character, she didn't seem the type. The protagonist asks if the castle lord did something wrong. The girl explains he enslaved people by lending money and charging high interest, turning them into slaves, including women and children. She says if the lord dies, his family can help them and asks if that answers his question. The boy says yes and heads to the castle. Later, the protagonist watches the castle, wondering if the game detected him talking to himself. He notes realism is key in the game and moves toward the castle. His viewers are amazed by his movement, and he credits his training. Observing the enemies, he realizes he doesn't know how to proceed, seeing only 2 guards, but attacking recklessly would alert others. The best move is to take them out quietly. However, he's not confident unless he uses the bow. A viewer points out it won't work because he'll get caught and asks how he'll take out 2 at once. Just then, Sungyun has an idea. Aiming the arrow upward, the chat wonders what he's doing. Looking up, the protagonist decides to target the guy on the left first. He shoots, hitting both guards at once, leaving his chat in disbelief. A donation comes in, saying not even the game developers would believe it. Switching back to the random guy, he admits he didn't see that coming, saying he's worked at many companies and seen many players, but never anyone like him. He gets a call suggesting a meeting the next day, promising to send the streamers details. Back to the protagonist, who has climbed the tower. He still finds it tough, saying the game is brutal, except for the bow part, but the chat insists that's the hardest part, asking if he practiced beforehand. The boy confirms, saying he practiced on the hardest difficulty repeatedly. Then Sungyun suggests moving the bodies. Just then, a guard approaches, asking about the missing guards, not expecting the protagonist to be aiming at him. After defeating the guard, the chat praises the ambush as incredible. He stashes the bodies in a corner, but someone in the crowd warns it'll get tougher with more enemies ahead. Sungyun agrees, wondering what to do next. Dressed in the guard's outfit, he finds it more uncomfortable than expected. Inside a house, which he guesses is the armory, he hopes to find more arrows. A guard spots him and questions his presence. Just then, an arrow hits the guard's head, shocking the onlookers. Another guard shows up, and the chat says he's been spotted. Sungyun feels nostalgic, like he's back in a competition. He's so focused on his target that he hears nothing else. Things get simpler. It's all about hitting or missing. This intense challenge makes him stronger. As he runs, the chat mentions he's noisy, but he's too focused to notice. A guard spots him, and Sungyun shoots an arrow at the guard's foot, surprising the chat with a miss. But that was his plan. He distances himself from the guards, then aims and hits their heads. Thinking he's done, he heads for the castle. Inside, guards spot him and call for backup. Surrounded, the spectators wonder what he'll do. Guards close in, but Sungyun fires arrows one by one. The system tells him he's gained a new skill. Using it, he grabs multiple arrows, hitting several guards in a row. The guards, confused by the headshots, call him a monster and tell everyone to flee. But when a guard looks back, Sungyun is already behind him. After taking out the remaining guards, his audience is amazed and starts donating. Sungyun wonders if his stream is doing well. Now, he needs to take out the Lord. Opening the door, he faces the boss. He wonders if this is the Lord, expecting him to be fat, but he definitely looks like a boss. The boss throws his sword, asking if Sungyun is alone. Aiming his arrow, Sungyun is impressed by the boss's strength to throw a sword that far, but he's surprised by the boss's flawless armor. The boss calls in guards, also armored. Sungyun thinks the boss's sword could help but questions if it's time to try a new weapon. He decides against it, knowing every game has its mission tricks. Watching the guards, he notices something. A guard attacks, but Sungyun dodges and shoots an arrow, knocking off the guard's helmet. He keeps dodging and removing helmets. With all guards' heads exposed, he quickly defeats them. Later, only the boss remains. The boss approaches, and Sungyun thinks the 3 headshot conditions are met and checks his hand. An aura appears, and the system says the consecutive shot skill is active, giving him more arrows. The boss asks if Sungyun plans to kill him with just a bow and arrow. Sungyun says he found a way. He shoots an arrow at the boss's chest. The boss taunts him, saying it's useless and threatens to crush him for the chaos in his castle. But he gets hit with another arrow in the same spot. Confused, the boss asks what's happening. More arrows hit him, and he questions if Sungyun thinks it'll have a concentrated effect. Sungyun realizes he needs to speed up as the armor starts to wear down. The boss begins advancing toward him. Sungyun thinks it wasn't enough, so he hits the arrow again in the same spot. This time, it works and chips the armor. The boss asks how he did it, but then gets an arrow straight to the chest. Everyone's shocked as the hero beats the boss with just a bow and arrow. All his tough training and packed schedule paid off. Sungyun thanks for the donations and asks about being an ally, as one donor mentioned. The boy says he didn't count, but it seems he shot 40 times, and the chat says he's now a real streamer. Since they're done, the boy suggests checking out Amelia's face. But then he gets a 300,000 donation saying he's really cool. Cut to a girl on a subway, thinking those people are annoying and wondering how long she'd be stuck like that. Instead of going with the flow, she could just disappear. At home, she sees the protagonist's live has started. Initially, she watched because of his name, but now it's her only joy. Seeing the mission he's on, she wonders how he'll do it. She's surprised because he accepts it and is ready to complete it. When Sungyun finishes the mission, she's amazed he cleared the castle. She wonders if she should donate. While donating 100,000, she writes her message. But she thinks she should give more, not wanting to lose in donations, saying she spent a lot, but it's for her happiness. Seeing the donation, she's happy he remembers her, wondering how he'll react. Sungyun ponders what reaction to make. Then, he does a backflip. Later, Sungyun ends the live, thinking if he doesn't disconnect now, he'll die. But he's happy he earned 300,000. He remembers it's the same donor who gave millions with Jamek, wondering what they do for a living. He's worried they're just young people giving big amounts to streamers. Back to the girl, she says the broadcast was fun and thinks she should make a clip. Watching it, she wonders what music to use, thinking the day's content was amazing and visually great, noting he played better than before. She says as he grows, she'll keep improving the edits, happily saying the next clip will be epic. Back to the protagonist, answering a call from Juyuk, Sungyun asks why he called so early. His friend says there's a problem, asking if he remembers the person who made the video montage, mentioning her account was private. The protagonist asks what to do now, and Juyuk suggests mentioning them when donating next time, but Sungyun doesn't want that. So he asks if they should wait, even if it takes time, and the protagonist agrees, looking at his phone. Sungyun thinks when you're full of thoughts, the best way to clear them is by cleaning the house. He thinks going up and down the stairs every day is tiring, but he tells himself it's training because everything's hard until it becomes familiar. Then, as he's going down the stairs, someone opens the door in his face, and he's hurt. The girl apologizes, asking if he's okay. Sungyun says he's fine, but the girl is surprised when she sees who it is. The boy is confused, asking if she's okay, saying he'll leave. Later, Sungyun throws out the trash, saying sweating feels good, and gets a call. Juyuk calls again, telling him to watch the new video from that person because it's amazing. The video just posted and already has over 3,000 views. Mentioning he's trending in the gaming category at 78th, Juyuk notes he left a comment as soon as the video was out, saying now it's just waiting for her to respond. At that moment, someone calls the boy. Seeing the girl, he realizes it's the same person as before. Sungyun wonders if he forgot something, but the girl says that's not it. Embarrassed, she asks for his autograph, leaving him puzzled. Could she be a fan? He's surprised because he's not famous, yet here's a fan right near his house. He agrees to sign and asks for her name, only to find out she's the person he really wanted to meet. Later, he's at a cafe. His friend asks the girl if she's done video work before. She says yes, it's both her job and hobby. Juyuk thinks it's awesome she works with her passion. They'd been searching for her, and never thought they'd find her like this. Jia asks why they were looking for her, but he says it's nothing big. He places some papers on the table, asking her to work with him, which surprises Sungyun because it was all set up so fast. Seeing her hesitate, Juyuk mentions issues with her video revenue. He thinks people usually get curious about profits when discussing collaboration, but she shows no interest. He figures she might be a rich kid who donated to him just because she liked him. He wonders if her videos are just fan work and thinks of hiring her. He says they need her help editing videos. Sungyun asks what's going on, but Juyuk whispers for him to wait. The girl blushes, asking if they really need her. Juyuk says they've been searching for her for ages, and she can make the videos she wants, but they really need her help. She ponders, wondering how long it's been since someone needed her help. She asks them to wait a bit because there's a problem. Her current company doesn't allow dual contracts. To become an official editor, she'd have to leave, and her current salary is good. She can't risk it on just one income. Sungyun thinks he hasn't streamed for a week and can't even buy a drink for his friend, telling Juyuk to think it over. But he has an idea. He pulls out a tablet, saying he got an email with a proposal from a partner streamer of Punk, including employment costs. Sungyun is shocked that someone big wants to partner with him. Jia thinks about the offer and decides to sign. Sungyun thinks she doesn't seem to like her current job. Juyuk says she'll get an average salary of 25 million a year, plus 40% of her YouTube revenue as an incentive, so she signs the contract. Afterward, the businessman says he'll contact her once he hears from Punk. She asks about her videos, and he explains they'll likely need to be on the official channel. She asks to be notified when it's all decided. With negotiations over, the protagonist nudges the man, questioning if the streamer partner deal is real. The man assures he's not lying and, annoyed, says he has no reason to lie. The hero is impressed such a big company wants him, and the employee asks if he'll sign, which he confirms. As they walk, the suited man says Seo Jaya is cool and straightforward, and being a fan made him think recruiting her would be easy. But the protagonist explains being a fan is different from being in a contract with your idol. Still, the man recalls she donated a lot, showing she really likes you despite seeming serious. She didn't smile once during the chat, but it's better to work with her since she's a pro. At home, the girl quickly shuts her bedroom door and leans against it for a while. Without wasting time, she takes off her cap and coat, slipping under her bed's blanket. Safe and cozy, she lets her emotions show, thinking it must be a dream to meet Amand in person, yet she's now an editor. Looking at the contract, she can't believe it, but it's real. In the past, she remembers being mocked for graduating from a community college. People would question her future, pointing fingers and asking if she'd ever find a place that treated her as well. She thought she'd be stuck in that routine forever, but one day, someone noticed her. The video quality was top-notch. It was about the genius archer who descended like a god and the brilliant creator who rose from the ground. This archer took the castle alone, named Amand, and she eagerly awaited the next video. Somehow, she felt a strange but comforting sensation she never had before. At home, the protagonist decides to start early since he'll be streaming at a random time. After logging into his computer, a unique notification grabs his attention. It's an intro music file sent in .zip by Siajaya. Instructions come with the file, and he recalls they parted ways not long ago. Yet, in this short time, she did everything quickly, so when he asks in the chat, Seo explains she's doing it as a hobby. Yu gets excited to see what she can do when she gives her best. He thanks her, saying he'll use the music well, making her extremely happy. Soon Amand starts his live stream. Messages start pinging on his followers' phones in the city. Quickly, a crowd joins the live, thrilled he started early. They notice an intro and comment in the chat that it's quite cinematic. They see it's Siajaya's style and conclude she was recruited. The numbers keep rising, and finally, the star presents himself. After his first speech, a subscriber donates 1,000 won, asking if they'll see Amelia's surprise face today. Another donates another 1,000, saying hello, and the protagonist thanks them, saying they'll start the kingdom era immediately. Inside the game, subscribers notice the corpses from the previous day are still there, seeing the place hasn't improved. It's said the man destroyed the castle alone, possibly an assassination. The hero says he needs to report to Amelia, but first, there's something to do. Since he cleared the place alone, he thinks it's good to loot some items, and his subscribers agree. He asks which of the 3 bows on the ground he should take, sparking a debate among viewers. Yu opens a chest full of gold coins, amazed by their shine. He also gets new armor, which excites him. After collecting items, he explains to subscribers that this is the most he can carry due to the weight limit. At least now, he won't die in one hit in most fights. Mounting his horse, he says it's time to complete the mission. After some time, the game returns to daytime, and he's relieved time doesn't pass realistically. As he dismounts, someone calls out to him. It's the princess, surprised to see Amand in front of her. He bows to her respectfully, and she asks how he returned so soon. He explains he came to update her on the mission. She tells her servant she needs to speak with the warrior privately, asking her to leave them alone. Seeing this, she tells the hero to hurry up and get things done, making it clear he can't waste time. They head to a door and enter a building. As they walk, the princess asks if Amand has changed his mind about what she said. Yu says no, explaining he just came to report his mission's end. The girl is shocked since it's only been 2 days since she gave him the task. The hero counts on his fingers, 1 day for travel, half a day to prepare, and half a day for the raid. Still, she can't believe him. She recalls something about a raid and reminds him her request was for an assassination. Yu, with a straight face, says security was tight, so he just took out everyone in his way. Hearing this, the girl's face shifts from confused to shocked. After pulling herself together, she asks if Talrant Castle is now empty. The hero confirms, saying no one's there. With a warm look, she asks how he took the castle alone. For him, it was easy, not seeing why she's surprised. The princess says there's no time to waste. To protect the people, they from Jinrat must get there fast, so she orders the carriage. She tells her servant she's going to Talrant Castle, explaining they must arrive before other nobles interfere. She quickly gets into the carriage, and a servant asks her to be careful. But the boy hasn't moved, leaving her puzzled. She calls him, asking if he'll just stand there lost in thought. She invites the hero to join her, as she has many questions about Amand. Viewers go wild over her kindness towards the hero, even thinking about a romance. As the carriage leaves, she asks how he's so powerful. The boy says it's more praise than he deserves, as he doesn't think he's that strong. The girl, still surprised, says she's seen many knights, but none have done what he has. Yu explains he's good with arrows, but she finds it hard to believe he beat all the troops with just that. The hero confirms, leaving her and the viewers puzzled. She says Amand is fascinating because she's never seen a knight who insists on using a bow. The boy explains he's actually a mercenary. Understanding his real job, she asks if he'd consider becoming a knight after the task. Shyly, she says she needs someone to manage Talrant Castle once it's part of a new territory. She asks, saying it's just curiosity, and the chat goes wild, thinking about romance and knighthood. Everyone's curious about his answer, but he says he'll just be a mercenary, not skilled enough to be a knight. The girl feels a bit let down, unsure what to say. She explains her father wants to meet him, likely pleased with how he handled things, surprising the boy since it involves the count. Just as he's about to speak, she puts a finger to his lips, saying he's unaware. This creates a warm moment between them. Embarrassed, she says it's a lady's courtesy to ignore such things. The mood breaks when they're told they've arrived, but the chat buzzes with love for her character and growth. Inside the castle, workers are busy cleaning and fixing the place. Among the crowd, someone spots some new, important visitors in the area. He wonders who they are, guessing they're from Talrant. But the girl overhears and corrects him, saying they're actually from Jinrat, shocking everyone. They think about kicking them out but realize they can't since Talrant is gone, and they know there will be consequences. Yu, strolling on the castle roof, sees people are still puzzled. He spots a banner for Talrant's territory. At that moment, the two allies exchange a knowing look. The princess grabs the big red flag and takes it down, replacing it with her own region's flag at the castle's peak. The locals are upset because their leader changed overnight. They chat about how it's a bit of a letdown but decide to keep working, with one mentioning they've heard Jean's rule is better. The main character wonders if it's okay to leave things as they are. The princess asks what he means. He suggests they should make a speech so people know they're new leaders. The girl is thrilled with his idea but says everything's fine since the locals will adapt soon, leaving viewers captivated by the scene. A week later, things start improving. The people, once drowning in debt and facing slavery, can now pay off debts through work and keep some money. Work increases, and the once dull territory starts to thrive. Over time, this could bring huge benefits. Inside the castle, the girl touches the hero's shoulder, interrupting his thoughts. With love, the princess is happy to have found Amand, and the stream chat is curious about the vibe between them. She reminds him they'll see his dad the next day. He confirms he hasn't forgotten, and the viewers go wild over the romantic mood. Yu is happy with this ending, but suddenly, trumpets blare across the region. They turn, realizing it signals conflict. On the horizon, a huge number of troops are ready to reclaim the territory. Among them, one soldier stands out in golden armor, looking dangerous. Yu wonders if they're Talrant's allied families, and the girl confirms, saying they're likely here to retake the castle. The hero promises he can stop them, and the princess holds his hand, asking him to come back safe. Just before the battle, Generate flags are everywhere. The soldier's general gives a formation order and a motivational speech about defending Talrant's fortress and protecting Lady Generate, who gave them jobs. With a battle cry, they vow to win, and the soldiers are fired up, except Amand, who looks at Jean with sadness. But he knows his duty, changes his expression, and a mission pops up for him to win the war. With the battle cry, everyone, including the chat, goes wild, amazed by the epic event like a top-tier game. The chat mentions another streamer who couldn't do half of what the hero did, and he notices the negativity. He wisely asks them not to bring up other creators, and they agree. They praise Amand's stream quality, which keeps getting better. But suddenly, he surprises everyone by ending the stream and thanking viewers. They beg him not to stop, but he doesn't pay much attention and ends it. Afterward, he checks his phone, very pleased with the numbers. Judging by the viewers' reactions, it seems our hero wrapped up the stream at just the right time. Ending the game's story is a big deal. It might let down some viewers, but it's ultimately a smart move. As he checks the comments, he spots some interesting ones. A few talk about boosting affection with Amelia just by taking over a castle solo, or so they say. But the compliments about his skills leave him puzzled, thinking he just played normally. In his mind, a pro could easily outdo him, and he wonders if there aren't any pro archers in the game. Then, another thought hits you. He recalls his friend mentioning his knack for instant focus, and he starts to think maybe he's got some gaming talent. He wonders if it's his concentration, which is key in archery, but not just for archers. Excited, he checks out other trending posts. Suddenly, he stumbles upon something big, an analysis of his character's archery skills. The article heaps praise on his skills, confident in his posture and technique, clearly written by experts. Then, a shocking detail hits him. The article claims that even compared to pros, Amand's skills are top-notch, backed by a former pro player. You starts to tremble, curious who this person might be, thinking he might know them if they're archers. After some time fretting, you decides to chill out. He figures there's no need to stress, thinking there's nothing too interesting. Plus, he knows people in archery cut ties with him a decade ago, but the doubt lingers. He quit archery due to an injury from an accident, a secret only his coach knew. He recalls a day after school when a girl nervously asked if it was really over. He said he no longer found archery fun, and she asked if it was just fun for him. Back then, if he didn't lead in archery, no one else could. She asked why he was quitting so suddenly, and if he was serious. Sadly, he confirmed he was. The girl, understanding there was no going back, parted from him, crying and telling him to leave. But she wasn't the only one crying that day. The next morning, his phone blew up with notifications about the streamer. As he went downstairs, he noticed some negative posts but still appreciated them during a low audience moment. Suddenly, you bumped into the girl. He greeted COG, and she replied to Mr. Sungyun. She mentioned noticing his hard work, and he said the same, asking if she was headed somewhere. She said her destination was nearby, and you asked if he could join her, which she accepted, surprised. She also mentioned wanting to show him something. After a short walk, they rested in a park by a pond. Our hero, being chivalrous, bought 2 drinks and gave one to her. You asked what she wanted to show him, and she pulled out her phone, saying it wasn't anything major. She showed him some new videos for her channel, asking him to check them out. You agreed, impressed by her speed, and asked if he was the first to see them, which she confirmed. While watching, she stayed embarrassed in the corner. And back to the video. The title of the first episode of Kingdom Age was catchy. Watching the video, he realized it was from his first live stream. Feeling nostalgic, he remembered picking the bow over other weapons, ignoring the difficulty level and his subscribers' advice. But he turned out to be pretty good with it, surprising his critics. The screen transition was as fast as his shooting, so there was no need to worry. The girl did a great job, not only showing his best moments but also syncing with viewers' reactions. The hero watched his avatar on the girl's phone and called it insane. Embarrassed, she asked for his opinion on her work. You said it was surprisingly good art. He praised all the details she included, making her blush even more. All she could say was a simple thank you for his kind words. Changing the topic, he asked if she could post it on YouTube right away, but she said she couldn't yet. She mentioned that the best strategy is to release at least 3 videos at once. She offered to keep making videos in this style, and the hero agreed, already thanking her. Later, at home, Seo lay on her bed, exhausted. But remembering Yu's compliments recharged her energy, making her feel her work was worthwhile. She felt recognized for her efforts. Suddenly, her phone rang, interrupting her moment. Seo knew no one would text her that late, so she thought it might be something from Amand, making her anxious. But the message wasn't what she expected. The mood turned dark, and she tossed her phone aside. She decided to take a bath, knowing there was still much to do, and the message seemed to be from someone she called a psychopathic bastard. A new day began, special because Amand would have siege content. Yu was said to be the first archer to take on a siege challenge. On forums, people agreed, with one saying they couldn't wait and would watch after school. Another planned to watch on their way home from work. Suddenly, a notification popped up that Amand started his live stream, surprising everyone as he began 4 hours early. With a smile, the protagonist greeted his fans, who responded, though some were confused. He was a bit worried about the odd timing, but more people showed up than the day before. He realized he had a great audience thanks to the siege challenge. He announced the stream would be longer, and resumed the gameplay from where he left off. A soldier caught his attention, asking if he traveled far to get there. The hero seemed confused, and the soldier pointed to the girl on the castle. He joked that the hero was pretending not to understand and playfully punched him on the shoulder, saying he was jealous. The stream chat was confused because this side of Roman hadn't been shown before, and you thought the man was friendly but had never interacted like this. Looking at the horizon, the hero realized the man liked to lead from behind. With a trumpet sound, the battle began, stirring Generate soldiers' anger. Mounted on horses, the allied group faced the enemy. The hero, leading the archers, ordered them to shoot. The command was precise, hitting several enemies. Suddenly, a system message asked if he wanted to transfer command to the NPC, which he accepted. The troops would continue with basic combat, and you chatted about Roman's comment that the Golden Knight must be killed and returned. Suddenly, a subscriber donated 10,000 won, requiring 1 kill to access the money. The protagonist is surprised by how easy the mission seems, and his subscribers agree, thinking the donor is underestimating him. The donor then mentions that no matter what happens, only 20 people will be involved. Yu asks if he's sure about that. Yu thinks the donor must be rich, and the chat is already celebrating, expecting at least 50 casualties. Later, Yu sneaks through the battlefield, going solo into enemy territory, leaving his allies and straying from the mission. Amin figures that taking on the challenge alone will raise the stakes, but he knows he must complete the missions. As his friend mentioned during the stream, donations aren't always as expected, so each one counts. Hiding behind a bush, Yu estimates he has 80 arrows and figures if he takes down 1 enemy per arrow, he could earn about 1 million won. Donation missions have a special aspect. They keep the action flowing. Amin realizes it's not just about taking out the enemy leader quickly but enjoying a longer fight for more fun. On the main battlefield, things are going as planned, with enemy soldiers moving in. Suddenly, a rain of arrows hits several soldiers. One soldier yells they're under attack from the left, but there's no sign of arrows from that direction. A high-ranking warrior steps up, saying they can't waste time on a simple arrow. But just as he orders the advance, an arrow hits his skull, taking him out instantly. Amid the chaos, soldiers call for their sergeant, confused about what's happening. The chat realizes why the hero went alone. It's tough to track a single arrow, especially when every shot hits perfectly. After another hit, the warriors figure out the protagonist's position in the southwest behind a bush. Their leader orders 20 soldiers to guard the left flank, impressing the stream chat with the NPC's leadership. They wonder what Amin is doing, urging him to run, but he's calmly counting his arrows. After counting, he plants 20 arrows in one spot on the ground. The warriors approach, swords drawn, ready to attack. Yu tells his subscribers there are 20 of them, so he'll prepare exactly 20 shots, wowing viewers with his confidence. As the warriors move toward the bush, they anxiously search for the hidden enemy. Suddenly, one notices 2 comrades are instantly hit by arrows, dropping dead. With his fallen comrades, he barely has time to react before meeting the same fate. This happens to all the warriors nearing the protagonist. One tries to warn that the archer is aiming for the head, but he's hit mid-sentence. Amin unleashes a precise rain of arrows, and the system notes 3 seconds until the shooting ends. Those seconds are enough for the protagonist to clear the area. Finally, allied troops approach, with no enemies left to stop them. With the mission done, the hero earns 230,000 won, and viewers praise him for delivering as promised. At home, Seo is thrilled, showering Amin with praise for his skills. She thinks everyone, like her, is captivated by the hero because he always gives his all, no matter the situation. His passion resonates with her confidence. Yu is definitely someone who never doubts himself, and why would he? His success speaks for itself. Back in the game, our hero nails another soldier with a perfect headshot. Everyone knows he's the genius they all want to be. He aims his arrow at his foes and hits a record of 40 kills in a row, with people joking it's like an assassination since no one survives. After taking down more enemies, he notices he has about 40 arrows left. Suddenly, a knight in shiny armor shows up, and the chat can't help but laugh at how clueless this guy is for showing up here. Seeing the battlefield, the knight can't believe one archer took out all 20 of his men. So, he orders 40 more soldiers to stop the archer from taking out any more of his men. They rush to the spot, finally spotting the hero hiding in a bush. The mission donor begs in the chat for the hero to stop causing losses. But the bet's on, and the chat jokes that the donor is whining a lot for someone with over $1 million in the bank. Yu is amazed by his subscriber's wealth, thinking he's going to do well. The hero asks if it's true, and the subscriber just says he's in trouble, hinting at his fortune. Aiming again, the hero declares he'll take that million from his collaborator's account. The subscriber tries to speak, but just then, a soldier gets hit in the head with a precise arrow. The warriors try to regroup, but the hero activates his rapid-fire skill, cutting down their chances. He targets everyone in front of him, taking them down one by one, worrying the mission donor. Amun doesn't miss, hitting all in the skull's vital spot. Suddenly, a noise from another bush reveals someone hiding. An arrow flies past the hero, and the chat realizes the enemy has an archer too. Viewers try to give tips, but the hero focuses on finding his enemy. After another arrow lands near his foot, he tracks the enemy's location and shoots an arrow that intercepts the enemies, leaving everyone amazed. The enemy archer wonders what happened, but before he can react, he takes an arrow to the eye and falls dead, shocking his comrades. Only 3 stragglers remain, knowing their fate. The hero draws another arrow, ready to finish them. Aiming, he tells the chat the value is now 710,000. One soldier, refusing to accept it, grips his sword and charges at the archer to avenge his friends. But as he gets closer, the hero spots him and shoots him too. One warrior panics, wondering who this fast archer is. But then another is hit, and his comrade falls, interrupting his speech and leaving him even more distressed. In a last-ditch effort, he tries to run, but the hero won't let that happen. Things don't go as planned though. Checking his bag, he realizes he's out of arrows, but his subscribers are already thrilled with his performance. The donor feels relieved not to pay more, and others say the NPC got lucky. Now, the focus shifts to the soldier's frantic escape. Unexpectedly, our hero is chasing him, determined not to let his unbeatable score be broken. The soldier, realizing he's being pursued, panics, and viewers can't help but admire Kingdom Age's smart AI. The warrior keeps yelling for the protagonist to stop, but then he spots an arrow on the ground. He pulls it from a fallen soldier's head and takes aim at his new target. With a perfect shot to the skull, he wraps up his fight with a flawless score. Smiling, he tells his subscribers that only 20 people remain. True to his word, the donor sends the promised million, sending everyone into a frenzy, while the hero awkwardly thanks them. Suddenly, something on the horizon grabs our protagonist's attention. Allied troops are arriving, signaling the war's end. Among the soldiers is the knight Robin, getting all the cheers. One warrior mentions that Sir Robin's leadership won the battle, calling him the real hero. Viewers are outraged by this unfair credit, noting that Amun did all the work. The hero agrees, thinking he took down 100 enemies without getting the recognition. Roman approaches, apologizing for his colleague's behavior. Looking a bit embarrassed, he explains the unfair treatment of mercenaries. The protagonist asks if there's a problem with their relationship. Roman explains that knights only call mercenaries to collect basic pay and leave quickly, despite their contributions. The knight shows up while the mercenary is complaining and asks if that's the issue. He questions if there's anything wrong with giving the agreed amount. Roman points out there's a clause for extra rewards for good performance. Robin mockingly questions what was said about doing the mission well. He comments that on the battlefield, where knights risk their lives, it's unlikely mercenaries perform well. He adds that mercenaries protect themselves, claiming it's their only asset. Roman, deeply irritated by the insult, is asked by the knight what's wrong with his face. The knight mocks him further, questioning if he's wrong. The hero thinks this is the stereotype when hearing mercenary, but it's just a silly prejudice. If mercenaries can't fight well from the start, they can't build trust, and without trust, the system fails. The protagonist says he thought the knight trusted them for their skills and that losing respect after the war isn't honorable. Robin is outraged, so Roman explains the young man killed 100 soldiers. He questions if they did nothing. The knight laughs at the protagonist's feat, mocking the archer with his soldiers, thinking it's a lie. This enrages everyone in the chat and the hero himself. Roman, disappointed, tries to argue again. Suddenly, someone interrupts. She insists she can walk on her own. It's the Golden Knight from before, appearing with a few soldiers. Respecting his opponent, he admits Robin won the battle. He vents about his castle being taken without shame or reason, and his soldiers being killed. He questions if this is what the Genrats call honor, leaving the knight speechless. The protagonist, seeing the knight's reaction, realizes the person with the golden helmet must be of higher status. The warrior stammers, trying to say his actions are for tolerance people, but the knight cuts him off, asking to speak with Genrat. Robin explains it can't be done, but as the golden knight is about to question further, he notices something more important. Before him stands the archer who easily wiped out much of his troops. He starts walking toward the protagonist, thinking he's intimidating him. But surprise, the golden knight speaks to the mercenary, leaving him stunned. He asks if he was a knight of Genrat, and Yu quickly says he's not. Then he's asked about the hero's role, and Roman explains he's just a mercenary like him. This definitely piques the knight's interest. Next, he asks if this mercenary is the one who took down 100 enemies solo. Hearing this from the enemy changes everything for the Gene Knights. Amon wonders how the golden knight knows this, and the stream chat thinks it's an honor to be recognized by the enemy commander. It's no joke, but the warriors can't figure out how an archer hiding could take out 100 soldiers alone. The knight then comments there's no trust among the hero's allies, calling them fools. The commander, placing his hands on his helmet, asks if the protagonist still wants to stick with them. As he removes the helmet, he says these people don't see the warrior's worth. The chat, picking up on the voice, realizes it's feminine. When the helmet's off, it's revealed the knight is a girl with long purple hair. With a friendly smile, she asks if the hero wants to join her, and a choice window pops up. The protagonist has two options, accept for recognition or decline for loyalty. Yu suddenly realizes the golden knight is Rosanita, the second heroine. Despite losing, she has a relaxed, confident vibe, different from Amelia. Even as a newbie, the hero sees the effort put into this character. The Jeaner Knights are also charmed by her. The stream chat urges the protagonist to pick Rosanita over Amelia. He remembers he has to choose. He thinks it's not the right time to switch heroines, given his progress with Amelia. Even though it's a game story, he's grown attached to her. Rosanita, noticing his delay, asks if he'll leave her hanging and pushes for an answer. Yu feels the pressure and can't decide, so he smartly ends the broadcast at its peak, leaving subscribers furious and hurling insults. Watching the hero's performance, Kim sees the same group insulting him at the end as those who join early. He knows they're diehard fans, not really mad, as they spread the stream's events and communities. Still, Kim's surprised by their numbers. The fan base is mostly men in their 20s and 30s, but hardcore fans are evenly split by gender. Men donate more often, but women slightly outdo them in total. Thinking of Seo, Kim knows it's too soon to judge with the current data. In the end, there's a love beyond donations, and with these signs, it might be better to play the game distributed by Funk next time. Suddenly, someone yells Kim's name at his house. It's his parents at the door, with his dad shouting furiously. His mom tries to calm him, but the dad's really mad, asking what Kim did. He asks if Kim's really leaving the company, and Kim backs down. The boy's dad, yelling even louder, asks if he's lost his mind. He wonders if his son ever thought about his dad's reputation, mentioning that the resignation news came from the director. Then, in a commanding tone, he orders Kim to start working at the company the next morning. The boy tries to speak up, but his dad, with a serious look, asks if he has anything to say. Realizing he can't win, Kim admits he doesn't and agrees to do what his dad wants. After the family drama, his mom tries to calm things down, offering him some fruit. But the boy, looking at his computer, says he can handle it himself. It's been a week since he started his new job, and he's made about 271, not exactly rolling in cash. Kim hasn't hit his goals yet, but he's enjoying himself and starting to feel hopeful. A tear drops on the table, and he wonders if it's all just a dream. But as quickly as it fell, he wipes it away, thinking it's too long to be a dream. Later at home, he's sleeping, totally exhausted. But he wakes up because someone's ringing his doorbell in the middle of the night. Yu goes to the door and opens it, asking why someone would be there at such an hour. To his surprise, it's someone he knows, who introduces himself, joking that he almost died waiting. It's Kim, who's been through tough times but is cheerful, saying he's left his parents' house. In his new place, Kim happily munches on chicken and sips a beer. He asks if his friend isn't drinking since he got 2 cans, and Yu says he doesn't drink before streaming. So Kim sarcastically says he can't be helped and drinks both cans. Changing the topic, Yu asks why Kim suddenly left home, even though it's normal after becoming an adult. A bit shy, Kim says it's complicated and asks to explain later, which Yu agrees to, saying he can wait for a better time. Kim asks if he can stay there for a while, and Yu says it's fine since there's room for both. After eating and drinking a lot, it's time to talk about work. Kim asks what Yu plans to do in Kingdom Age. He jokes that Yu seems caught between Amelia and Rosanita. When asked, Yu thought it was more serious, so he just asks if his choice really matters. Kim shouts, asking if Yu hasn't checked the forums after streaming, and Yu says he hasn't. There's a debate about Amelia and Rosanita, so you should be careful with his choice to avoid hurting business. Yu just comments that his viewers' reactions are wild, which leaves Kim shocked. Kim thinks if it were him, he'd lose sleep over those threats. Seeing those messages, Yu remembers he has something to discuss with Kim. He mentions that the game is nearing its end, and they haven't picked the next game yet. It needs to satisfy current viewers and attract more traffic. Kim, prepared, puts his stuff on the table. With confidence, he says there's no problem because he's done some research. He tells you to get excited because what he's about to show is revolutionary. It's a game called Battle Rage set in a modern war setting. Kim asks if Yu has ever played it, and Yu says he's only heard of it. Battle Rage is an online PvP survival game where the goal is to be the last one standing among 100 players using various weapons. Good aim and smart decisions are key to leveling up in the game. With this in mind, the game suits the trends and the main character's skills. As you'd expect from a top-notch secretary, his friend did an awesome job, and Yu wonders if the game is fun too. Sadly, the hero admits he's not into PvP games and wonders if he should practice before streaming. Kim yells, slamming the table, telling him not to. A bit let down, the boy realizes the hero doesn't get what his audience wants. He asks Yu to think about what viewers really want from his stream. Yu guesses it's his gameplay, but that's not it. Anyone can stream good gameplay if they're skilled. So, what is it? Kim points at our hero, saying the audience craves a one-of-a-kind genius. The boy reminds the protagonist of his first game stream. That day, the hero wowed everyone without practice. Viewers love seeing a true genius in action. Kim thinks the best plan is to show perfect plays without practice. But the protagonist remembers Battle Rage is all about weapons, and he only knows archery. The boy turns on a panel, asking Yu to watch. The panel shows the hero shooting an enemy in the head while on horseback, asking if anyone can do that. The hero thinks it's normal, but Kim disagrees, saying the protagonist is unmatched in these games. Yu suspects his secret trick might be the reason. He explains he sets up a ranking system before streaming, training in direction and agility. The hero says it's part of the capsule, and he optimizes it by cleaning it daily on the hardest level. Kim asks about his highest score, and the hero says it's around 12,000 points. After hearing this, the boy gets excited, checking his phone. He reveals his research shows his friend is ranked number 1. He shows the ranking to the hero, who realizes it's true, boosting his friend's expectations. Now, The theory that the protagonist is a genius is confirmed. But the hero, like anyone caught off guard, takes a while to process it. Kim is thrilled about the legacy they'll create with Battle Rage. Later, even though it's still daylight, the hero is back to work. When asked why, he says he's testing the best time to attract viewers, which is smart. Kim wishes him luck, but finds his friend's affection odd, making Kim uneasy due to the lack of gratitude. The boy tries to interact, but the hero asks him to move his hand, saying he's closing the capsule. Once back in the game, everything resumes where it paused, with the girl upset at being ignored. Rosanita asks for an answer again, and the choice window pops up with viewers cheering. Yu knows his choice changes the game's direction. He tells the girl he's flattered, but, as a mercenary, he's loyal to someone else. Rosanita gets it but says it's a shame. She leaves, saying the archer is better than most knights she's met. The commander orders to stop the enemies, but no one wants to fight. That choice was smart because the protagonist knew picking Rosanita would drag the story on. Staying loyal to Emilia was the best move. Suddenly, Emilia shows up on the battlefield, surprising a soldier behind her. And of course, our hero is the most stunned of all. Emilia, on the other hand, is overjoyed to see Amon standing there after his big decision. She starts walking toward him, ignoring the soldiers trying to get her attention. As she gets close, Yu tries to ask how she is, but she skips the small talk. She goes straight for what she's been wanting to do for ages, a big hug to clear up all the confusion. After the hug, the stream chat goes nuts, and then our hero puts his hands on her shoulders, suggesting they head back as winners. Emilia blushes and genuinely praises him for his battle skills. In a romantic twist, they finally kiss, but the viewers miss out because the hero skips that part. Afterward, everyone heads back to the kingdom on horses and carriages. Out of the blue, a knight approaches the hero, calling him the archer who hit 100 targets and praising his amazing skills. The protagonist is unsure how to react, and Roman finds it amusing how the soldiers suddenly believe in him. At least the enemy acknowledged their victory, or rather, the hero's victory. But Yu knows it wasn't just him, it was because the captain and others fought bravely. The mercenary thanks the hero, saying his words will comfort his group, but Yu is puzzled since he sees himself as one of them. Roman then points out that the protagonist isn't a mercenary anymore because he can now do whatever he wants. Despite everything, the mercenary is grateful because, thanks to the boy, they all earned enough to relax for 4 months. The chat admires the man for being a true friend to Amund. As the journey wraps up, they arrive at Jeaner Castle with Yu leading the way. He's amazed by the inside of a noble's castle. Jean takes charge, ordering the guards to open the door for her special guest who will dine with her. The soldier lets them in, and the hero meets someone who admires him. Lord Jeanert extends his hand, inviting the protagonist to sit, saying he's heard a lot about him. As Emilia's father, he happily praises the boy's splendid work and insists on thanking him properly. He asks a maid to quickly bring the food, and Yu is glad the Lord doesn't judge people by their status. Then, the system announces that the hero has successfully joined Emilia's family for a meal. When the maid brings his dish, Yu sees only water in his bowl. Confused, some buttons appear, and he clicks them to figure out what's going on. He realizes he's pressed the same button repeatedly without thinking. Yu panics, unsure how this rhythm game works. The stream chat gets it, saying the developers made it so mercenaries wouldn't know table manners. They joke that everyday life can be a battlefield in Kingdom Age, but the difficulty of getting a simple meal is more than anyone expected. Another quest pops up, adding to our hero's stress. Inside the capsule, Yu realizes this is what meeting his father-in-law feels like. The viewers joke that the game is now a marriage simulator. Back in the game, Emilia's father, holding a glass of wine, asks the hero a big question. He wants to know if he would like to become one of his knights, and the system opens an option window. The stream chat buzzes with excitement, since no one knew a knight route existed or that things would progress so fast. While the chat comments, the protagonist thinks that in a game where the main content is wandering as a mercenary, changing routes will change everything. Looks like this might be the end of the road, unlike what you thought when he picked Emilia over Rosanita. With a ton of thoughts swirling around, he narrows it down to 2 choices. Decision made, he wraps up the live stream, leaving his fans fuming over the abrupt end. Back home, the capsule opens, and he notices he didn't sweat much, even during fights, and though it was shorter, the stream went well. Kim, on the other hand, is all smiles, congratulating him on the great stream, which baffles you since there was no action scene that day. Kim assures him that Amon will see the buzz in the forums, where the day's events are trending. Proudly, Kim claims he always lets the data do the talking, and Yu just rolls his eyes. Anyway, Kim mentions he got a call from Punk's rep, confirming the editor's salary, which is a huge relief for Yu. Kim says it's normal for them to offer first, but Yu explains it feels different when it's official. They plan a meeting, and Yu realizes he should get some sleep to be fresh for the next day. The next day, people stroll through the city, heading to work. On Yu's phone, news about games and jobs pops up. One headline announces that newbie streamer Amund has partnered with gaming giant Punk. Even in the bustling streets, people chat about this unexpected deal. Despite Amund playing Kingdom Age, Punk is the top game distributor, dominating the market effortlessly. But lately, Higame's been making waves, so Punk is focusing on promotions, exclusive programs, and strategies, including their streamer partnership program. This program boosts popular streamers to play Punk's games, offering support in return. Yet, some find it odd to partner with a streamer who only pulls in 1,000 viewers live. While many cheer, others think it's a bad move, comparing him to lesser-known influencers like Bubblegum. However, some defend him, saying those 1,000 views in a small game could explode in a bigger one. The buzz is for Aman to ditch Kingdom Age for bigger games, but he still has a fan base for it. Even without a current stream, his fans hang out in his chat, waiting for the next live. Elsewhere, Yu meets the execs of his new partner company. He heads to a room where the contract awaits his signature. Back in the chat, his fans say it'd be great if he started streaming soon because they're ready. Right on cue, Aman kicks off his broadcast, just as his viewers hoped. For a bit, he's not on screen, leaving fans puzzled. But soon Yu greets everyone. With the stream live, he announces he's finally made an AllTube account, now partnered with Punk. He thanks everyone for their support so far. From now on, his gameplay clips will be on this channel, with past montages remastered and uploaded. He asks fans to check it out when they can. He promises to keep working hard to deliver exciting content. The news spreads fast, thrilling fans and annoying haters. After the announcement, there's a toast at a nearby restaurant. The staff praises him, but he's unsure what he did to earn it. Switching topics, the man mentions it would have been nice if Jaya had joined them for the company dinner. Yu, still clueless, insists it's just a casual meal. The man disagrees but shifts back to Jaya, wondering how she edited 3 videos in 2 days. Sipping his beer, the hero explains she's been doing this as a hobby long before becoming the official editor. Kim then asks why she wasn't thrilled about the editor role, and it's revealed the change means less time with the hero. Yu then brings up something the employee should have told him. The employee is confused, but as he starts to explain, the man in the suit suddenly lowers Yu's head. They both crouch, but the hero stays calm. Instead, the man tells Aman to hush. It's then revealed the former company team just arrived, looking for seats. Our hero realizes this place is close to rival company Asum. The man in the suit whispers they should leave quietly, and Yu agrees. But someone from the other company spots them, drawing attention. Kim remembers this guy, recalling a time he was mocked for being there due to connections. The man proudly approaches their table, surprised to see Yu Seung-in. With a grin, Kim asks if he's been well. The man just asks where he's been. Laughing, he wonders if the boy has a new job. It's clear he's fishing for them to admit they're jobless, so Kim knows what he'll think when he says he's Yu's manager. The manager then speaks to the hero, saying he should greet his boss if he sees him. The hero bluntly replies he doesn't want to greet anyone, leaving them stunned. The man questions this, but Yu stands by his words. The manager complains the boy has talent but uses his head wrong. Yu says they're not on greeting terms, making the manager uneasy. The manager claims the hero's still out of mainstream media because of actions like this. He insists the boy should greet elders regardless. After this lecture, silence falls. The manager gets no response. Instead, the hero laughs, recalling the lecture. Fearlessly, Yu points out the hypocrisy of bothering others with personal questions and demanding politeness. He explains it's not polite to say one thing and do another, asking manager Park for his thoughts. Out of arguments, the man considers violence to defend his honor, but the hero stays confident, unfazed by the man's intimidation. The hero asks again if the manager will answer, making him hesitate. The manager thinks causing a scene is the only way to win, leaving Kim in despair. Luckily, an important figure arrives just before things escalate. He greets the hero warmly, happy to see him. The director's presence brings relief to Kim's troubled mind. The fight comes to a halt when a new guest arrives. Director O rushes over to Yu, thrilled to share that the video he sent is racking up views like crazy. He brags about how the directors at Punk are buzzing with excitement, and pats himself on the back for his keen eye. Meanwhile, the manager is in shock, and O mentions that one of the directors wants to have dinner with Yu. The guy who tried to stir up trouble is now amazed by Yu's importance. People gather around Ahmed, showering him with praise. A girl asks for an autograph, and the director nudges the hero to sign it as a keepsake, which he does. But the director isn't satisfied with just an autograph. He loudly announces that the protagonist has signed a partnership with them. This revelation hits the manager hard, and he storms off in envy. An employee points out that the manager already ordered food, but his anger is so intense that no one dares to stop him. With the troublemakers gone, the mood lifts. Kim thanks director O, who brushes it off, saying people like that are everywhere. Yu points out that O stretched the truth a bit, which confuses him at first. Yu clarifies about the director's excitement and the dinner invite. O laughs, admitting he exaggerated but explains those types get nervous around big names. Yu thanks him sincerely, and O tells him to enjoy the meal. Before leaving, O asks Yu to let him know when he's free for dinner with the director. Yu feels a mix of nerves and excitement, but double-checks if it's true. O laughs heartily, confirming it's legit. He admits he only fibbed about the office directors. Everything else is real. Yu hadn't checked his video views yet, but his success was undeniable. Later, in a meeting, an executive tells him that doing well on a streaming network doesn't guarantee success on a recorded platform. You might need to upload at least 20 videos to see a profit trend. He knows this is true, as planning is all about future investment. Initially, Yu didn't expect much success, but his videos hit an incredible peak, with one reaching 100,000 views. This is tough to achieve, as even Bubblegum struggled on AllTube despite being the top streamer on Treaty. Yu recalls advice about the importance of editors, realizing Jaya's edits played a huge role in his channel's success. He feels lucky. Sitting on the couch, Kim mentions a message from assistant Lee about manager Park's foul mood. Park thinks Yu is backed by a mega corporation. Yu is puzzled by this assumption, but Kim laughs, saying it's probably due to the director's support. Changing the topic, Kim asks if the cleaning is done because he wants to use the bathroom, and Yu is amused by his boldness. Later, Yu heads out for his usual workout, feeling it's doing him good. The day before, Yu had indulged in fried chicken and beer, but even in retirement, he doesn't believe in slacking off. During his run, his music suddenly stops, replaced by a call. Yu pauses, thinking it might be important. It's Kim, already stressed, who tells Yu to check his messages. Don't forget to hit the bell and catch the next episode on Barinho's channel. Yu answers, saying he's busy with work, but Kim isn't buying it. After a long rant, Yu jokes that Kim sounds like a manager. Kim gets to the point. Their views are up, and the director wants to chat, but Kim can't join. Yu wonders if all the drama was just for this message. But there's more. Jaya's a big part of their success, and they should thank her. They agree, and Yu suggests a thank you gift. But then he tells Kim to forget it, surprising him, because Yu just spotted Jaya running in the park. It's business hours, and the street's bustling. The young man is at a new restaurant, glad he beat the crowd. He brings a tray of food to Jaya, who's deep in thought. Sitting down, he says he got their orders, and she thanks him. He wanted to treat her to something pricier, but she was happy with food. If there's news, he hopes she'll share, though he's worried about being a bother. She's actually thrilled with the surprise snack. As she eats, he watches, curious about her simple joy. She jokes it's hard to eat with him staring. They're still enjoying their meal. The fries are great, but he's not one to start conversations. Jaya, on the other hand, is super quiet. He tries to chat, but she just agrees, ending the conversation. Even though talking is nice, they don't need to force it. He figures Jaya's had a tough time at work, explaining her lack of interest in chatting, but she admits she's not great at conversations. Maybe he didn't know, since she's chatty when drunk, but he notes she's more talkative about work stuff. Outside of work, she struggles with topics. After saying this, she seems embarrassed but curious about how to keep a conversation going. She asks if he thinks she's weird. Things get deep fast, and he pauses before responding. Jaya opens up about being called strange all her life. Before she can continue, Yu says work can be tough. There are good parts, but also stress, and bottling up feelings can lead to overflow. He asks rhetorically about dealing with these feelings. Since leaving his job, he knows the feeling well, but he wants to hear what's bothering her. Jaya is surprised by his understanding. He hopes she'll bring it up when she's ready. Jaya remembers the person in front of her, and the image she had of him. He's grown up and acts like it. Yu is online, chatting with his audience. He announces he's now a streamer working with Punk, sparking all sorts of reactions. He's thrilled by the buzz from such a simple reveal. In this session, he's playing Kingdom Age, which surprises the viewers a bit. They think he might finish the game this time. Plus, there's a new game lined up for him. There's a grand palace covered in snow. A well-dressed woman is there to greet someone arriving. The player bows and offers his sword to her. She takes the sword and names Amand her knight. He looks at her happily, and she returns the joy as the ceremony ends. Viewers wonder if this is really the end. Inside the palace, Amand is warm and coatless. Outside, flowers bloom, showing a time skip. He notices his new, finer clothes and realizes he's now a full knight. But something else catches his eye. A glowing golden light appears, like a scroll on fire, lighting up Amand's face. There's one last challenge to truly become a knight. The scroll makes it clear he hasn't reached knighthood yet. Suddenly, a boy bursts in, calling for Amand, startling him. He's worried about being late for a competition. Amand is clueless about this competition and wants details. The boy jokes about him being on fentanyl, but Amand denies it. Today is the day to prove his knight title, and the boy rushes to get him armored up. The boy mentions Lady Amelia, but before he finishes, she arrives. She overhears and wants to know what's up. She quickly stands on tiptoe and gives Amand a big, unexpected kiss, surprising him. Viewers joke he's already got his prize. She warns him that losing could spell trouble, but Amand assures her he knows. Amelia believes in his success, and he thanks her for the support. Hand in hand they head out, ready to prove Amand's worth as a knight. They walk through the bedroom doors to the trial location. It's a big stadium, packed with people eager to see Amand's trial. He didn't expect a reindeer so close to the castle and wonders if it's a gladiator fight. Alberto greets him, noting his arrival, and viewers don't seem to like him. Alberto belittles Amand, who notices right away. He claims the Genert family is in trouble, and the knight title is losing value. Since Amand isn't of noble birth, he must prove himself. But Amelia defends him, saying Amand has proven himself many times and even slain monsters. Alberto dismisses these as unproven rumors. Amelia retorts that he talks like a combat expert. Her words sting Alberto's ego, irritating him as Amand and Amelia ignore him. Amand calls out to her, saying not to stress because he was the one who suggested the competition. She pauses for a moment, then approaches him, touches his arm, and says she's not worried. What bugs her is seeing him underestimated by others. But Amand assures her that from now on, no one will underestimate him again. The arena is packed, and the crowd is chanting Amand's name. Everyone seems to be rooting for one thing, Amand's victory. In the arena, Amand wants to know what the challenges are, but the Count tells him to quit whining. As the gates open, the Count mentions a saying about knights. A massive wooden stake suddenly pierces the ground. A true knight can handle a troll solo, the Count declares as the beast enters the arena. This is a bit much, surprising Amand and the viewers. The crowd is nervous because trolls are seriously dangerous. Someone points out that Amand only fights with a bow and arrow. Taking down a troll with that would be tough. Trolls can regenerate, and people online suggest he should use a slashing weapon. The Count is the only one amused, sarcastically wishing Amand luck. If he were a real knight, the Count and his crew would be watching the fight up close, not from a distance. The troll starts moving toward Amon. It doesn't attack right away, giving Amon time to think of a plan. He makes the first move, shooting an arrow into the troll's neck. As the arrow hits, Amon raises his hands like he's surrendering and turns away from the fallen troll. The arrow glows scarlet, stopping the troll's regeneration. The Count and his cronies watch from afar, shocked by the unexpected turn. Amon keeps his back to the troll, which stays down. Online fans cheer because it was a perfect shot. They forget that trolls are no match for Amon's special skill. The crowd goes wild, amazed at how easy Amon made it look. Cheers for Amelia and Amon fill the air, while the Count is fuming with anger. He orders knights to check the troll's body, suspecting poison. He's so mad he considers doing it himself. But Amelia interrupts, saying the competition is over. Continuing would only ruin his reputation. Frustrated, the Count has to accept the result. Amon declares his knight title is now legit. A happy tune fills the castle, and someone online says it sounds like an ending song. Amon and Amelia are in new outfits, ready to get married. Her face shows pure joy. They walk to the altar, and viewers comment on how beautiful the ending is. Amon wonders if this is really the end of the story. It's his farewell to the first virtual reality game he played, which lasted less than a week. But the game changed his life. He says goodbye to the game, and thanks it for everything. The credits roll, and Amon sits back in his chair. Kingdom Age is over, and there's nothing left to do in the story. Now he's excited to jump into the next game, much to his followers' delight. Reading comments, he sees people talking about the game Electron and others with PvP dynamics. All this info makes him feel a bit pressured about his next move. Online games are different because he'll face real players, not AI, and these games already have skilled players. They won't go easy on newcomers, and his genius reputation might take a hit. But fear can't stop him, and he announces the next game, Battle Large. As he looks at the screen, he feels a bit of regret. He worries that switching from Kingdom Age might make his followers leave. It's a common issue for streamers. People don't stick around easily. Changing games can cost them half their audience. It's a risk they take because, in the long run, it usually pays off. It's obvious when you think about it. The audience grows with those who adapt. Still, losing viewers hurts, no matter how it happens. And it's happening now. He's lost some subscribers after finishing the game. Now he just waits for the new game to download. The audience chats about it. The change has piqued their curiosity. This new game is more realistic than the last, and a viewer even made a generous donation. If it's like he thinks, the game's physics should be interesting. One thing's for sure, it'll be fun. A helicopter flies through the sky. A soldier inside says they've reached their destination and should prepare to jump. Amon feels nervous. The game feels too real. The height is terrifying, and the audience sees he's scared to jump. The soldier yells, "It's not time to be afraid, he must jump now." But Amon hesitates. Watching the tutorial, he didn't expect this, and the guy next to him jumps first. He watches the parachute open below, amazed. While he hesitates, another jumps. Now many are parachuting down, and he's still in the helicopter. Gathering courage, he knows he can't lose to them. He finally steps out of the aircraft. He takes the leap, diving toward the ground. The sensation is intense and real. It doesn't feel like just a game. During free fall, he screams nonstop. There's nothing but adrenaline now. The parachute opens automatically, surprising him, and now descending smoothly, he's relieved. Even though it's gentle, he feels he's going too fast. The ground approaches too quickly for his liking. Amon lands awkwardly, and some say he's a newbie, totally unaccustomed. He recovers, still attached to his parachute. Safe now, he wonders why the game starts so intensely. Around him, players are already fighting like loan sharks collecting debts. It's chaotic, and soon he's spotted by others on the map. They approach, thinking they're lucky because he's a beginner and easy to handle. Amon considers running. They don't know he's new. He thinks the game shows his level, but it's just his clumsy landing. He sees an abandoned building and heads there for shelter. A closed door is in front of him. Inside, he wonders if there's anything he can use as a weapon. It doesn't take long to spot something. On a table, there's weaponry ready to use. It's an enhanced bow and arrow, a weapon he's familiar with. He approaches to check it out. He used something similar as an athlete, and didn't expect to find it so soon in the game. He thinks about grabbing it for defense. Then he hears a suspicious noise inside. Players are entering through the external staircase. Grabbing the bow, he knows players are accessing the building from the second floor. They open a door leading inside. To them, Amon is probably still on the first floor, clueless about what to do. They think he's hiding instead of grabbing items. One guy is sure Amon's a newbie based on how he landed, but one of his pals already got an arrow to the head, so they're on high alert. That was the first casualty on the map, surprising those who thought they were chasing a rookie. Now they're whispering to avoid giving away more info, unsure how it happened. They quickly try to figure out where the arrow came from. One of them aims his weapon, thinking he'll take down the protagonist. But before he can act, an arrow lands in his bald head. Amon already has his bow ready to finish off the last fool, but he's surprised by what he sees. The last hostile player has fled the building, realizing he's at a disadvantage. Amon's unsure if he should chase him. His audience is split. Some say go after him, Others say it's a survival game, so staying alive is key. He considers going after the last one, who must be nearby, when a player appears behind him. This fool also has a bow and is ready to shoot, but he doesn't get the chance, as Almond is much quicker. The guy drops to the ground, lifeless, giving Almond a triple kill. He thinks the player tried to copy him, hoping for an advantage, and the audience goes wild. He wonders if dealing with players in these games is always this easy. His audience says he's matched with inexperienced players since he's a novice. If that's true, he can play with more confidence. Suddenly, a loud noise fills the area. Almond is caught off guard, not expecting it. He wants to know what it was, as it was so sudden. A warning pops up, saying the blue area will shrink in 30 seconds. The warning flashes before him. The shrinking blue zone stops players from hiding forever. Anyone outside it loses health, and Almond's position isn't great. Looking out the window, he sees everyone moving, so he should too. Outside there's not much cover, so he needs to be careful. Hidden behind a wall, he hears a vehicle approaching, maybe a car. He doesn't know where it's coming from but hopes it passes by. Then, a shot narrowly misses him. More shots follow from the same direction, forcing him to take cover. The audience finds it amusing, saying he's a beginner because he got scared. He defends himself, saying it's his first time playing this game. Behind him, the car he heard is getting closer. Since the car can't get too close due to obstacles, he thinks about hiding quickly. Meanwhile, bullets are tearing through the wall he's behind. Almond runs, realizing his attackers are destroying his cover. If he stays exposed, he'll get hit, so he finds another intact wall. He prepares to climb it while his attackers reload. Now on the other side, he's a bit safer. Shots are fired, but this wall is sturdier and holds up. The shooter gets frustrated and taunts him to come out and fight. One viewer is grateful this wall is tougher than the others. Now another group is there, hunting Almond, the newbie. On a survival map, it's rare for so many players to team up, and Almond readies his bow. He whispers a few things while hiding, then he steps out of his shelter. As soon as he's visible, the first fool gets hit by an arrow. Luckily, these players aren't wearing helmets, which helps him, and the survivors wonder how he's so accurate. They say bows deal a lot of damage, but they're tricky to use. Just as they finish saying that, an arrow lands in his head. The last fool runs for cover, knowing he's next. Almond is on the hunt for the last player, who claims to be a pro using a new account to mess with newbies. Almond figures out where the voice is coming from and gets ready to shoot an arrow in a high arc. He lets it fly over the wall, and as it peaks, it drops right onto the last guy's head. The guy yells in pain, shocking the viewers who didn't expect such skill from Almond. The scream means he's still alive, but it also gives Almond the chance to fire another arrow. He uses the same trick, and the target screams again, so Almond readies a third arrow. This one finally takes out the guy hiding behind the wall. But then a notification pops up saying the player was knocked out, which makes Almond curious. A viewer explains it means the shot was fatal, but it's not a unique message. Almond keeps reading comments to learn more about the game. Then someone mentions the map is for team battles, which surprises him. This mode allows teams of up to 4, but you can play solo too. He entered the map wrong, a rookie mistake, but donations keep coming in, and he's grateful. Now he's unsure if the enemy is still alive. While pondering, a rifle fires at him. Almond gets hit, and realizes there's another squad member alive. He falls, wounded, thinking how real it feels, unnecessarily so. Another shot nearly hits his head, and Almond rolls away, dodging more shots. He finds cover and sits, trying to catch his breath. His heartbeat spikes and almost hits the game's red zone, which would kick him out for being too risky. While thinking, he hears footsteps getting closer. He prepares to react, and his audience sees he's scared. The footsteps continue, but Almond can't pinpoint them. Focusing, he realizes they're close, moving slowly without caring about noise. He knows he can't win against a gun like this, but he has an idea. His attacker is patient for a reason. There's a place they need to reach. The player stops, and Almond seizes the moment. His arrow hits the fool's head. Just as he thought, the player was trying to revive a teammate. His audience is thrilled he won the tough fight. Among the donations, there are many unfamiliar names, but even small ones are appreciated. He's on the right track to being a good streamer. Now it's time to check the loot and grab anything useful. First up is an assault rifle. He looks at it admiringly, eyes shining, wondering if he should take it. He's debating whether to ditch the bow for the rifle. The audience is buzzing with excitement over the choice. He's torn about what to do. If he wins, he'll be known for the bow, which he likes. But if he loses, he's unsure how viewers will react. Then a generous donation comes in, asking him to win with the bow, which motivates him. The donor is Jaya. Surprisingly, he's not entirely comfortable taking the money, but he needs the push. He thanks them and decides to try with just the bow, despite some harsh criticism. There are other items from the players he defeated, which he picks up. Now, they tell him to head to the farm and quickly find a helmet. Since the farm is far, a ride would help, and someone reminds him of the nearby car. Now he figures out he can use the car to get there faster, so off he goes, driving to the farm. As he moves along, the scenery shifts, with trees and buildings getting closer. He's warned about the danger of heading into an area with more players. If he's too loud, he might get ambushed, and sure enough, a grenade gets tossed his way. It lands super close to his car. The blast is strong enough to flip his vehicle. He shields himself from flying debris. Once things settle, his car is upside down. Recovering from the chaos, he jokes about needing car insurance. Someone points out, unfortunately, that where there's one grenade, there's usually another. And yep, another one lands quietly near his car. Boom, Another explosion, and viewers think his adventure's over. But Amon's already out of the car, ending the sarcastic comments about his demise. Smoke from the fire makes it hard to see, so he thinks about heading to the nearest rooftop for a better view. He kicks the door open and heads up. On the rooftop, he finds no one. In the distance, he spots something fishy. He moves closer to the edge to get a better look, and quickly ducks as shots are fired at him. Hiding behind the concrete wall, he wonders if he's ambushed again. Nearby, a player tells another to stop shooting since he's already hidden. The shooter lowers his rifle, annoyed. They order 2 squad members to enter the building, saying they'll cover them. Amon stays hidden, and they tell him to go back inside. He sighs, thinking about his next move. Staying calm and listening is key. He knows there are 4 enemies, and from the footsteps, 2 are entering the building. The problem is he can't stand up without getting shot. There's only one option. The shooter knows he hasn't moved yet, thinking he might have given up because moving means getting hit. But Amon's readying his bow for the fools coming his way. He hears footsteps and pinpoints their location. Confident, he fires an arrow. His enemies keep coming. He shoots again since the first arrow missed. The second shot looks better, hitting one of the fools. The other one panics as his buddy's down. Amon's bow skills are amazing, and people joke it must have aim assist. He enjoys these comments because he practiced a lot, making shots like a circus performer. He did wild things, like hitting another arrow midair, which annoyed his teacher but helped him now. Still hiding, he hears a new sound. Footsteps inside the building are getting closer. He knows it's the guy heading his way and looks at the closed terrace door. With his opponent having a gun, it's tough to win at close range. He can't prep another arrow and hopes the guy misses. His bow's ready, waiting for the right moment. He won't rely on someone else's mistake. The doorknob turns slowly. Amon fires his arrow, shocking everyone, as the door is still closed. It slips through the first crack, hitting the guy inside. With an arrow in his belly, the guy tries to figure out what just happened. It all happened so fast, and the gap barely lets him peek outside. He can just make out Amon, who's clearly got some serious skills. A head of hair flutters in the wind. It's from the small body that just dropped lifeless on the terrace. The crowd loves it. The shot was spot on and super effective. Amon, being humble, says the opportunity helped him more than they think. Meanwhile, the other 2 shooters are getting antsy because they have no clue what went down in the building. Their buddy in the chat says he got taken out and thinks this player is ranked wrong. The survivor admits he was careless and tries to make excuses, but is curious about his teammates' opinion. They're a solid team, playing in amateur tournaments. Life got in the way, so they took a break and returned to the game's starting rank. The guy who's down wishes for a revive, but his pals can't risk it, or they'll end up the same. With his last bit of strength, he crawls to the first floor, insisting the enemy isn't that tough. But the shooter knows his friend will be used as bait. One of them considers ditching the other, suspecting they're up against a pro. If they bail, they won't lose rank, but the bravest one's pride would take a hit. It's just a game, no need to get too serious. Faced with this dilemma, they think about going to their fallen buddy, hoping the risk of reviving him pays off. They eye the building, ready to make their move. On the way, they find the first guy who got taken out. It's a shame he got hit so precisely. One wants to run, but the other suggests being cautious. They should move slowly with their weapons ready to avoid surprises. So, they both aim at the building's terrace. Soon, they spot their crawling friend at the corner. While one keeps aiming, the other suggests sticking to the walls to avoid giving the archer a shot. They inch closer to the building. They're almost there, not just to their friend but to what they think is the archer's blind spot. But then, an arrow comes flying at one of them. It's a perfect shot from above. They realize their heads are the target. If they keep going, their moves could be predicted. They need to dodge now. They sidestep, avoiding an arrow to the head. It sticks in the ground, finding no fool to land on. One is relieved they dodged it, but his buddy wasn't so lucky. He got hit on the side of the head. The last one standing can't believe what he's seeing. The precision and timing are just insane. He can't figure out how that arrow even got there. The angle is nuts. His thoughts are cut short because now Amon is right in front of him, falling and ready to shoot an arrow his way. The fall hurts him, but at least he took care of everyone. Now he's popping painkillers to heal up. The audience is curious about his bold move and wonders what he took beforehand, if they were really painkillers. Another warning pops up. The blue zone is shrinking again. Only 26 players are left on the map. Amon is pumped because he's fully healed. On the keyboard, a player complains about what just happened. He posts because he thinks he found a pro player in the starting rank, sweeping his squad like amateurs. Even though he's bummed, his post gets comments. Most can't believe all this was done with just a bow. It's too wild. He reveals his identity, saying he was in the diamond rank last year, and he knows his stuff. The internet is shocked because Calamari was a pretty well-known player in the community. Even after a year off, they still play great, and if he says the archer's a pro, he knows what he's talking about. They quickly find out this player is also a streamer. Calamari now wants to make sure this pro player gets what's coming for messing with newbies. Meanwhile, Amon is on the hunt for useful items, but everything's already been picked clean. Well, except for a bunch of weapons, but he's not ditching his bow. Then, missions pop up tied to the bow, offering a sweet reward for winning the map solo with just the bow. Now he's curious about his viewer count and checks it out. Almost 2,000 watching live. He's thrilled but keeps his cool. He decides to move on since nothing caught his eye. He recalls his audience almost dipped below 1,000 when he switched games, and now he's curious how it shot up. Reading the comments, something stands out. They aren't too friendly. Amon's surprised they think he's a pro in disguise. He figures these new viewers might have found him through a forum. All he can do is stay positive and keep playing to prove his skills. He needs to hurry as the blue zone is closing in. Outside, gunfire erupts. With the area shrinking, fights break out more often. He needs to move quickly. Only 10 players left, and he's already doing great for his first time. He doesn't know how many teams are left and hopes they're all from different teams. Suddenly, he runs into another player. He's a bit shocked by the encounter. Recovering, he can't believe it happened. No time to think. A gun's already aimed at him. A hail of bullets comes his way, and he barely finds cover. Thinking fast, he readies his bow. He waits patiently at the corner for the enemy to come closer. Footsteps get louder, but before he can act, his attacker gets a headshot from another player. More people are with him, now worried about a hidden shooter. This distraction gives Amon time to plan. Playing solo on a team map has perks. He fires another arrow, but it bounces off the guy's helmet. They hide, not expecting someone to use a bow at this stage, thinking Amon's been hiding all along. He figures there are only 2 or 3 teams left, but a dangerous object heads his way. This time, the arrow comes from above, smashing his helmet, and the last guy is now scared of the arrow's power. Before he can figure out where it came from, he's hit too. He can't believe someone shoots from above, and another arrow's already coming. Only 5 players left on the map. Amon's shocked they've been taken out, and viewers are wowed by his skills. The fight goes on, and now only 4 players remain. For Amon, that's good. As long as the other 3 aren't a team, he could win. In 30 seconds, the blue zone will shrink again. Amon says he's unlucky, but his viewers disagree. The mission's reward keeps climbing, and someone mentions snipers in the area. As the map shrinks, they lose their edge, but snipers are still a big threat. Again, Amon hopes the others aren't a team. He hears nearby chatter. It sounds like a group. Amon's fear is real. The last 3 are a team. It's now a 3-on-1 showdown. They move carefully, avoiding surprises. They're waiting for Amon at a spot he must pass to reach the blue area. Checking the map, they know they have the upper hand. The blue area starts shrinking. Amon's got to step up. First place is within reach. Everything hinges on his next moves. This is the moment that separates a good player from a legend. Amon needs to show everyone he's not just good, he's got real talent. He sees the enemies are relaxed, thinking they've got the upper hand. He just needs them to slip up for a second, and that's his chance. Amon gets ready by healing up. Meanwhile, the blue zone keeps shrinking. The other players are waiting for him, expecting him to show up any second, but Amon stays put. The barrier finally nicks his foot. Soon he's fully outside, and his health starts dropping fast. The players get distracted, thinking they might have lost him. They start worrying he might be sneaking up behind them. Amon waits. He needs them to be even more distracted. Now they're clueless about where to look. Finally they move, and that's the moment he's been waiting for. The first one gets nailed by an arrow. The last guy didn't see it coming and starts shooting wildly. He sprays bullets everywhere, taunting Amon to show himself, but Amon's already moved. His bow's ready for another shot. It doesn't take long before the guy gets hit in the head. Amon's health is low. He enters the blue zone, totally worn out. He's got a sliver of health left, so there's still a chance, but it's going to be tough. Now there's only 1 player left. As he recovers, he realizes this guy must be experienced since he stayed hidden while his teammates got picked off. If he hasn't shot yet, it's because he hasn't spotted him. He must be the sniper from before, and Amon has a rough idea of his blind spots. The zone shrinks again. He notices 1 player is crawling to a spot. If he follows, he might find the other player, but healing a teammate takes time and is risky. Judging by the situation, he's still at a disadvantage. This must be a trap to reveal his position. Based on the crawling player's spot, he guesses where the sniper is hiding. He scans for possible hiding spots. The sniper's definitely well hidden, waiting for the right moment. Amon's laser focused on cracking this puzzle. Suddenly, he realizes where the sniper is, lying on the ground, ready to shoot. The sniper still doesn't know Amon's closing in. He needs to act fast. The tricky part is he can't draw the bow while crawling, so he flips onto his back, surprising everyone watching. They think he's given up, but he starts using his feet to draw the bow. It's like something out of a movie. Amon's never tried this before and isn't sure it'll work, but he can't worry about that now. He's got 1 shot. With the bow on his legs, he aims from this wild position. He fires the arrow at the target. It zooms toward the sniper's head. The guy finally hears the arrow coming, but it's too late. He gets hit in the head, but his helmet saves him. Hit, he ducks behind barrels to stay hidden. Even Amon's audience knows what's coming next. The arrow arcs high as the last guy heals up, unworried. It comes down and hits him in the head again. This time, the arrow sticks in his skull like a desert rose. Finally, only 1 player is left standing, Amon. In the game's final phase, not many thought he could take down that squad. They knew he was good but thought he had limits. Yet, he took them out 1 by 1. Sneaky enough to find hidden players and clever enough to shoot with his feet feat, he wrapped up the level using his bow and arrow skills. He soloed a team map with just a bow and arrow. Nobody saw that coming. Aman thanks his stream donors, including Niho, a well-known streamer. He quickly thanks each donor. Niho invites him to join a clan, which is a big deal for a newbie like him, as the chat's surprise shows. He thanks Miho, saying he's just starting out. Miho donates again, offering to help if Aman changes his mind, and Aman appreciates the gesture. He wraps up the stream for the day. After logging off, his friend points out that Miho is a big deal, showing him her profile. She's a streamer with model-like looks. Aman wisely declined her clan invite to avoid being compared to pros, as he's still learning. They wonder how his session went over with viewers. His Kingdom Age fans love the new game, but on the new game's site, some folks reported him. His friend asks if he's okay, but Aman thinks it's because he hid his identity. He considers revealing it, but his friend warns about hackers. He decides to let it be, but his friend suggests using the attention to boost his fame. They think about leveraging it, but his account gets suspended. His friend is livid because the game didn't verify the reports before suspending him. While his friend rants, Aman accepts the frustration. He expected a quick response from support, but the wait made him think. Once calmer, his friend sees it as a chance to gain public interest. They need to seize the moment. Aman starts drafting a statement about being unfairly reported and suspended, with no support response. His supporters quickly rally behind him. Aman appreciates their concern, while his friend battles online haters. To them, it seems like being good at the game means you're cheating. Supporters react as expected, fueling the fire. The debate rages on, and Aman wonders if this will benefit him. Aman checks his phone, reading supportive comments. He gets a message from Jaya. His suspension is gaining traction online. Some think it's clickbait, but others say it's legit, with forums buzzing about it. On the street, people chat about whether to watch him. The platform chat is non-stop, discussing the ban of a skilled player. They watch the recording, hoping it's not clickbait. With Aman still in the helicopter, they see he's solo on a team map. Aman's friend is thrilled with the recording's reactions. Many thought it was clickbait until they watched. Aman pulled off impressive feats. Viewers even applauded the showdown between the last two players. Two people watching are happy with the edit, even if one saw it live. His standout performance led to other players reporting him. The internet was buzzing, saying he got a raw deal. He was suspended for a year for allegedly messing with the game's ranking. People were mad because he was only suspended due to a flood of reports, and the game's support team didn't even do their job. When the video of the game came out, it quickly spread to other forums. This situation became a hot topic among those criticizing the game's support, which wasn't exactly top-notch. The uproar was so big that even a news site covered it. Eventually, all this noise reached the game's management team. Someone with authority started complaining to those who suspended Aman's account. He was banned without checking his match history, which led to the mistake. The employee apologized, saying there were lots of complaints, but his boss pointed out that just having a lot of complaints doesn't mean you skip the rest of the work. He kept complaining and even threatened to fire the employee. The man sighed, accepting what happened. He wanted to know how big Aman's audience was and found out it was around 1,000 people. He also asked if there was any other important info about him. The employee was stumped, so the boss got more direct, asking if Aman had any connections with someone influential. But the employee didn't know, as Aman had just started streaming. His boss told him to hurry and talk to the forum admins. He rushed his employee because it was crucial to meet quickly. He wasn't thrilled about dealing with something so small during a delicate time for the company. Apparently, he was in a phase that would decide if he'd get promoted. Outside Aman's house, everything was calm. He brushed his teeth, thinking about everything that happened. So far, no response from the game's support about his suspension. He thought it would be sorted out in a day, then his friend burst in, all excited. He said everything had vanished, but Aman was clueless. Everything said about him on the forums the day before was wiped clean, not a trace left. It seemed the company didn't want to admit their mistake and made sure to erase the incident. They wanted to hide any evidence they might have been wrong, just to avoid admitting their management was bad. The challenge now was figuring out what to do since they couldn't play Kingdom Age. But Aman told him not to worry, as he'd take a day off. He planned to meet with one of Punk's directors that day. His friend thought they might get help from him, but Aman wasn't so sure. He'd only know after meeting him. He remembered his childhood days practicing with a bow. His teacher said he had a lot of talent. Even though he was young and not very strong, his mindset was exceptional. His grandma didn't get those comments, but the teacher said he was just describing what he saw. Talent doesn't just appear, it needs refining, as they didn't know how far he could go. While being watched, the boy shot another arrow, hitting the target almost perfectly. Seeing that, his teacher was amazed, as it's not easy to do. He approached Aman, who was still practicing, and said his technique was exquisite. Aman didn't think he was the one being praised, but the teacher said without the technique, he wouldn't have hit the target, and that no matter what, he should live life with that mindset. Even if you're not strong, keep moving forward, and eventually, your arrow will hit the target. Aman responded enthusiastically to that advice. The teacher continued, saying if possible, he should never stop practicing with the bow, as he had a gift. Aman looked at the sky, remembering those words from his youth. Calm, focused, and thoughtful were common compliments in his childhood. Qualities that made him the archer he is today, but they're simple words that could be the start of a resume. He has no clue what's coming his way, and someone calls him while he's strolling down the street. It's the director, thanking him for showing up. They walk and chat, but soon, an awkward silence creeps in. The director wants to ask the boy something, so he turns to him. The director wonders if he ever gets nervous. Amin takes a moment to answer, not quite getting the question. The director gestures to explain. Even seasoned streamers get jittery around him, but Amin admits he's a bit oblivious. Still, the director notes, he seemed really focused while playing, and Amin asks if he watched the recording. The director confirms he watches them all. Now they're in a fancy restaurant for lunch, a place Amin can't usually afford. The manager, who's actually the one fetching the director, tells him not to be nervous because he's a valuable asset. But Amin doesn't get it, thinking he hasn't done anything noteworthy yet. The director finally arrives to meet Amin. He introduces himself as Yu, and the man says he's thrilled to finally meet him. The man in front of him is the director of Punk, Han Taeho, extending his hand. He says he's honored to meet him, and the director appreciates the attitude. The boy makes a great first impression, different from other streamers. But he notices something during the handshake. The boy's hand is shaking, and he assumes it's nerves. Finally, they're all at the table, ready to eat, and the chef is showing off the dishes. The director praises the food, joking it tastes better on the company's dime. Amin catches the jokes and smiles quietly. When he tries the sushi, he's blown away. It's the best he's ever had. The director sees his reaction and confirms the sushi is top-notch, made by an award-winning chef. He asks if Amin's been to places like this before, noting how well he handles himself. Amin says he's had a few dinners in similar spots. The manager whispers something to the director. After listening, he calls Amin a unique genius. There's another director from a different company there, Lee Chil-sung, someone Han knows from school. Amin's surprised at how small the world is, but he's not shocked that leaders often come from tight-knit circles. Judging by their reactions, they seem close, with mutual respect. The director mentions he cleans up after foreign companies but has global influence, and many colleagues want to work at Punk. He notes Amin isn't very chatty, typical for a streamer. It's a shame because even popular streamers need a lot of image investment. Since Amin switched companies, the director wants to know if something prompted the change. It's a personal question, and his answer might seem blunt. But it's good, showing the director's interest, and a good relationship could help with his suspension issue. Amin wonders if it's the right time to share, as it's his first time telling someone outside his circle. He tells the director he used to be a pro archer and was really good. This surprises the manager, who didn't expect real archery experience. It's interesting because it's one of the director's hobbies, and he wants to know why Amin quit. Amin takes a moment to answer. He had to stop because of an injury, and the director remembered the boy's shaky hand, confirming that's exactly it. Curious about how it happened, Amin explained it was on his way home after winning a national competition. That win put him on the same level as the world competition, and they wanted to know when this happened. Amin revealed he was just 17, which surprised them. He tried for 3 more years, but the injury held him back, so he started working at Asung. He didn't get in because of his skills, which sparked some gossip. That's when he got interested in virtual reality games. In the games, his hand worked fine, as the director noted, and since he needed money, he became a streamer. While his grandmother was alive, he didn't have time to dwell on regrets, and even though he knew about the games, he focused on a regular job. Hearing this, the director understood more about the streamer he was interested in. He said life rarely goes as planned. Even though it's cliché, that's what makes life exciting, its unpredictability. There's no guarantee a perfectly planned life would be fun. He himself wanted to be a lazy heir, but he's glad he doesn't live like that now. He's happy with who he is because he has good opportunities, and he imagines the same for Amin. So the boy thanks him for the encouraging words. Soon the manager shifts the topic and asks about the new game he started. Amin confirms with excitement. He mentions he has a problem, but before he can finish, the manager interrupts. It's time to bring up the request for help. He has a chart in front of them and asks if the boy understands it. The director guesses what it might be, but they're both curious. It's the indicator showing the rise in Kingdom Age sales since he started playing. His name pops up in many game reviews too, thanks to his growing influence on the company. Even the director is impressed with the sales boost. He planned to discuss this the next day, but he wanted Amin to know about these stats too, which Amin didn't even realize. According to the numbers, Amin could be a star, and the director agrees. He praises the boy, feeling a bit embarrassed. These aren't empty words. He truly believes in Amin's potential as a streamer. But that's a closed game. He can't just keep playing it. It doesn't take long for the director to ask which game he's playing now. Amin says it's Battle Large, a very popular game, and even the director's son plays it a lot. Then he asks Amin how his experience with this new game has been. The manager gives him a discreet wink, reminding him to mention what's been happening. Amin notices and takes the chance. He tells the director he has a problem to solve. In the company lobby, employees line up to enter early, and a slacker rushes because he's unaware he's in trouble. He wonders why the manager wants to talk to him so early. He thinks it might be about a promotion or good news. He introduces himself, expecting good news to start the day. The manager asks him to enter the room and sit down. The assistant manager is there too, so the meeting begins, as they were called for a specific reason. He asks both where he needed to go that morning, signaling to the upper floors. He just left the executive director's room, which wasn't a good sign. It seems the directors heard a strange rumor about the the company. Addressing the slacker, he asked if they know who Amand is, which surprises the slacker. It's impossible the matter reached them, as he made sure to erase all evidence. Now more emphatic and furious, he asked if they know who this guy is, and the slacker says he knows who he is. Since they know who he is, there's no point in stalling, especially since both are leaving the company. The slacker didn't see this coming, leaving his boss pretty shocked. He has no clue about the situation or where the executive director got the rumor. The slacker tried to hide the mistake without even checking the facts. Now he realizes how big his mistake was, making his blood run cold. Amand is just a streamer working for Punk. Despite low numbers in viewers, he's linked to a big company. He alone made Kingdom Age sales skyrocket, catching the executive director's attention. Even though they make good games, losing Punk's support would be a disaster. Still, they suspended one of their streamers without solid proof of wrongdoing. The man puts his hand on his head, thinking it over. Covering up mistakes is something every company does, but the first rule is knowing what they're doing. But it seems the two in front of him aren't ready for this role. The slacker tries to ask the manager for another chance but gets ignored. He's told he's dismissed, and Amand's case will go to another team. This is a result the slacker didn't expect. Seeing they were still in his office, he hurried them to leave. After a brief silence, he announced he would leave the room. Meanwhile, the manager keeps fiddling with his tablet and congratulates the other team for ending Amand's suspension from their game. Now it's time to prepare everything for Punk's recording with Amand. Outside, the slacker tries to confront his former colleague. He asked if Amand had connections to influential people. The guy said he didn't know and guessed he didn't. To the slacker, this whole mess was his colleague's fault. In response, he wants to know why he's getting all the blame. He felt pressured since it was the slacker who wanted to sweep things under the rug. It didn't take long for them to start fighting, and security had to break it up. The sun lights up Amand's house. He's eating, and someone asks how his meeting went the day before. His friend couldn't ask earlier because he fell asleep. Amand says everything went well and it was easy to sort out, but that answer was too vague. He wants all the meeting details. He said the director seemed to like him a lot. He was interested in archery lessons, and another meeting was set up for that. That was great. These private lessons could help him make excellent contacts. But he's proud of him, thinking he might have said something foolish. He also asked if he mentioned the unfair suspension. He said Director Han would talk to the Battle Large executives to sort it out. While they were talking, the phone rang. They went to check the signal. Finally, the game team gave feedback about the suspension. They're apologizing for it. That's proof Han liked the boy. He contacted another director that morning, and by the time, it shouldn't have taken long from when he got to work to talk to the other director. His friend is happy about having such influential contacts, and since it's still morning, he'll eat real food instead of cereal, as he doesn't like it. Amand says he'll work out since he drank a lot the day before. As soon as he steps outside, he remembers something. It's time to announce online that his suspension was reversed. As soon as he announces it, his fans celebrate. The responses are many, and all are supportive. Jiha is thrilled that everything worked out for his friend. Similarly, articles supporting the boy start popping up. Surprisingly, complaints against the game's support had been piling up. One video, in particular, made her curious. Beyond that, Amand had won a fight against the Battle Large administration, which is a big deal. On the internet, Small Long makes a video about it. He questions the suspension of a player in his first match. This wasn't the first time the game's support failed to fix issues, but the real question was why his suspension got lifted so fast. Turns out, the director of Punk stepped in and pulled some strings. They messed up by ignoring the streamer, not realizing he was tied to a big company, just because of his view account. The video quickly racked up views. He thought it was because players were fed up with Battle Large's support, but soon he saw from the comments that people were backing Amand, as he hinted the guy was privileged. The views came from casual players who knew Amand but not the company's lousy support. Curious about who Amand is, the standout player, now calmly eating. Yet, he's glued to his phone, reading the news. His friend asks if he read something bad, judging by his face. He's shocked by the view count. His friend confirms it's really high. It hits him that 400,000 is a huge number for them. Even he can't believe it. Maybe the video went viral. These things happen. But there must be more to it. Maybe it's all due to his unfair suspension. And maybe that's it. There are lots of videos on the same topic. Soon, he starts celebrating the attention they're getting. Still, that's another platform, so they need to keep focusing on streaming. His friend quickly snaps back to reality. It all makes sense and should be their focus. Then he returns to his seat, as if nothing happened. But he's still excited about it. Yet, celebrity fame might not last, and he can't let his emotions ride that wave. He's now gearing up for another session, trying to keep his cool. Staying calm is key for pro archers. Now he sees the chat is way busier than usual. A flood of messages grabs his attention. It was just unbelievable. He suddenly left the booth, making his friend ask why he left so soon. But it was just an accident. He moved and the capsule opened on its own. He was already getting back in. Once inside, Amand says he didn't see wrong. His audience had already topped 2,000. That wasn't wrong. His friend realized that's why he left the capsule and teased him about it. This was their start towards stardom. All he needed was to do his job well. And that's what he'll do, because the audience on one platform doesn't affect the other. And his character, Amand, is drawing these crowds. The audience keeps growing, and he needs to make the most of it. This situation is like ones he's faced before. What's different now is how he expresses himself. Amand stays focused in his capsule. The supportive messages really cheer him up. It doesn't take long for him to greet his audience. They have lots of questions, and he notices the chat is more varied than usual. Altube had a wider range of people than Tribe. After a quick explanation, viewers now know why he was suspended. He starts getting donations and is thankful to be linked with Punk as they sorted this out. Some start saying the rumor about Small Long was true. Though he didn't get that reaction, his live stream numbers just keep climbing. Once everything's explained, it's time to play, and someone comments about games. Amand felt a bit hurt because he really liked that game, but his time with it was over. The game of the moment was back to Battle Large. His character appears on the stage. This time he did the right thing and entered a solo player map. Still, there's not much expectation because that type of game is super unpredictable. Even if the player is great, luck plays a big role in each stage. Amand needed to stay fully focused to show his skills because he still has a lot to prove. A mission with a big reward pops up, and the prize is his if he wins the map. Amand thinks it over and decides to go for it, feeling sure of his skills. With money on the line, he's more motivated than ever. Time to get ready for the game. He grabs an arrow. It's his first solo match, and he's got a mission if he wins. Plus, 4,000 people are watching him. Everything's set for the challenge. Whether he becomes a star or just another good streamer depends on his skills, which he can control. A message says all players are ready. Amand's pumped to show off his skills again. The game starts, and Amand's ready. Someone asks if he can run faster, wondering if they're just playing around. Choi remembers last time he had to jump without warning, making the start tough. Now, he needs to pick a spot where the fight isn't too intense but still good for farming. Amand jumps from the helicopter, and the chat's so mean they hope he crashes. He knows his landing spot and touches down. A viewer donates, saying Amand's improved. He thanks them and looks around, deciding to find a weapon first. He spots a house and heads in, realizing it's empty, which the chat thinks is bad. Amand's surprised to find a bow by chance. He hears a noise, turns, but sees nothing, yet senses someone coming. He grabs his bow, ready for battle. Opening a door, the enemy notices but doesn't realize he's in Amand's sights. Too late, he takes a headshot. Amand's happy with his first elimination. The chat's shocked at his skill, judging the enemy's location by sound. Kim, watching, is amazed at Amand's strength. His first match was chaotic, adjusting to a new game, but now he's fitting in, predicting moves. He's fully adjusted and getting stronger. Amand makes another elimination, impressing the chat with his pro-like skills in just his second match. He sees the comments, and a message says compound bows are hard to use, which is why most avoid them. Another donation comes in, saying newcomers don't know Amand because his bow always hits the head. He thanks them but asks not to provoke new viewers. He checks the blue zone and is surprised it's on his side. Another donation tells him to relax since the first zone isn't too damaging, and he needs to farm. In the house, Amand notes some supplies were important last match. Searching boxes, he finds basic recovery items and a medical kit, which will be useful later. A viewer asks if he sees it, and Amand looks down to spot a weapon. The chat's surprised at his early find, but Amand says he can't see it. Viewers insist it's below him, but he pretends not to notice, asking if he's ignoring the chat. Amand says he's not and suggests moving to the next spot. He's searched everywhere but only found a few recovery items, no vests or better gear. When asked if there was a strategy, the chat said it was all about luck. Another message popped up, warning the zone was shrinking. Amand quickly moved, deciding next time he'd skip farming and just get to a better spot faster. Then, a message told him to look back. The zone caught up with him, and he started losing 1 resistance every 5 seconds. Amand grabbed a supply kit to recover, thinking it would help him last longer. Ahead, he saw another player. But wait, there was another one zooming past him from behind. Amand was shocked, wondering if running that fast could really avoid accidents. Just then, the guy hit a rock, and the chat joked about what happens when you don't stick to the road. Amand had faced an elite team in his first match, but now he was up against hardcore newbies or really bad players. Watching from a distance, he was surprised, questioning if this was the bronze rank. The scene shifts to a boy looking back, saying to shoot anyone who got close, while another guy, confused, asked if he wanted to fight now. A shot was fired, barely missing Amand, who thought the guy was itching for a fight. Amand drew his bow to fight back. The other guy was surprised, wondering if Amand could aim while running with a bow. He hadn't paid much attention because Amand was an archer, but now he realized they needed to take him down first. Grabbing more arrows, Amand felt a sense of familiarity, starting to shoot at the players. When he was younger, he lived briefly in an athlete's village and had seniors who liked him, maybe because he was calmer then. Another guy invited him to play soccer, suggesting they do it at lunchtime. Later, Amand was training with his seniors but was already tired. That day was rough, and his coach told him not to get too excited at lunch. Later, Amand had the ball. Seeing many defenders ahead, he doubted he could get through. Another guy appeared, saying there was no space to pass, and he should just get past them all. Amand, confused, asked how. The guy said he just needed to trick his opponents. This was new to Amund, who only used a bow and arrow and had no one to trick except the referee. Still, he had to find a way past all those players. A flashback showed Amund wasn't great at dribbling, and another guy agreed, saying he was worse than everyone. But anyone could do it if they watched and learned. The guy then made a move, scoring a three-pointer, and showed Amund some dribbling tricks, saying he didn't need to beat his opponent, just make them think. Back in the soccer match, Amund decided to try. He calculated his moves, and as the defenders waited, he appeared in front of one but just faked a pass, dribbling past the defender, who crashed into his teammate. The goal seemed open, and Amund smiled, thinking he was about to score, but his hopes were dashed by a defender on the goal line. As time passed, a happy guy said he knew Amund could do it, but Amund replied his shot was blocked. The guy said it was still a perfect feint, and he had fooled a national player. Hearing this, Amund pondered, saying the training hadn't really helped him as an archer. Back in the present, Amund had dodged all those shots in battle, amazed that the technique worked even there. Without missing a beat, Amund grabs another arrow and nails a headshot on the other player. The battle seems over, and our hero feels relieved because those guys were pretty clueless. The chat is buzzing, amazed at how he shoots arrows faster than reloading a gun. Later, he finally leaves the blue zone, thinking he might need a first aid kit right away, wondering if all his farming was for nothing. Even after using all his kits, he's not at full health, making the game tougher than expected. Meanwhile, King watches the whole stream, noticing over 5,000 viewers. He thinks if this keeps up, streaming alone could be his ticket to success. Following his marketing senior's advice was smart. A flashback shows his senior saying marketing is a double-edged sword, but it's perfect for those with nothing to lose. Less famous folks have an edge, which is why Amund had an advantage against the management team. Still, they can't get careless because attention from a short edit fades fast. First-time viewers came through a link, and now it's up to Amund to keep them. A flashback hits, but the guy isn't worried because Amund can handle it like he always has. Back to Amund, who's racked up 12 kills. He searches the other player's body and finds basic recovery items. A viewer comments that farming seems pointless if he can just beat everyone, and Amund jokes he'd have full gear if only he had a helmet. Another viewer donates, asking why he's looking for a helmet on a player's body instead of in houses. Amund thanks them and says he's decided to skip farming and get good items from others. He'll only attack those with helmets and let the rest go. Another donation comes in, noting 23 players left and asking if they're safer with or without a helmet. Amund ponders this but soon spots another player and takes them out. The player fires back while falling, and Amund, surprised, thinks they had a quick trigger finger. It was loud for someone without a helmet. More donations roll in, and a viewer asks if he wasn't only targeting helmeted players. Amund, surprised, notices more donations than usual, despite hearing game streams get the least. He sees over 5,000 viewers and recalls Kim saying surpassing that number could make him a full-time streamer. Amund asks how much Kim would earn monthly, and Kim says over $5,000. Amidst all this, Amund thinks he shouldn't get distracted during streams or check viewer counts and earnings again. But then he spots a grenade below him, leading to a massive explosion. Bubblegum shooters is a meme for players targeting streamers, and the worse lower their rank to keep killing. Meanwhile, a man watching Amund insists he's not a bubblegum, and thinks he's near the creek. He can't let a little idiot like Amund take out the bubblegum. Armed with a compound bow and bulletproof vest, he decides a grenade is the best move. He throws it, thinking it takes 10 seconds to explode, starting a countdown. Amund has just 2 seconds to dodge. Realizing he couldn't do much, the low-rank guy spots a grenade. Our hero quickly grabs his bow. The guy thinks about going back to find bubblegum, but then he notices Amund is still standing. To his shock, the grenade is right above him. Boom! The explosion knocks him down, and he's left wondering why his own grenade blew up on him. With the target clear, our hero notes the guy had a helmet. The guy pleads with Amund to stop, but Amund takes him out without mercy. Amund, satisfied, finally gets a helmet. Meanwhile, the chat's buzzing, curious about how the grenade ended up in front of Amund's opponent. Amund explains it was simple. The grenade was too far to kick, and he had no time to dodge, so he used his bow. When asked why the grenade didn't explode when hit, Amund says he aimed at a 45-degree angle, sending it back to his enemy. The system warns the blue zone will shrink in 30 seconds, so Amund has to move. As he runs, he spots something in the debris, aims his arrow, and takes out another player. The other guy wasn't unscathed either. After a while, only 5 people are left, and our hero reaches a safe spot. Something's rustling in the bushes, and a weapon appears. Scanning the area, he's ready to shoot anyone entering the blue zone. The chat teases him, calling it a joke, but he insists he'll come in first. A donation pops up, and someone says his chances of winning are less than 0%. He thinks it's not just talk, his farm has been good. He spots someone approaching, where 3 people are battling. The chat says if he takes them out, it'll be one-on-one, so he readies his weapon. He aims and makes his first elimination. The chat's confused, wondering if he hit them all at once, and even the streamer can't believe it. They think it might be a bug, but he just wants to take out his next target. Another guy falls, leaving viewers shocked. The confident streamer tells the chat to watch because he's good, but then he sees it wasn't him who got the kill. The chat mocks him. The guy aims at the protagonist, wondering if it was him who killed because he had a bow earlier. He can't forgive him for stealing his kills. Suddenly, a threatening gaze locks onto him, and he feels it. Meanwhile, the protagonist figures out where the guy is. But the guy thinks it doesn't matter, he can still shoot him. Seeing Amon aiming with his bow, he's surprised, wondering what Amon thinks he can do with it. Amon says he can't even measure that distance. The confident streamer calls Amon a novice, and plans to beat him for first place. Whether it's distance or strength, a bow can't beat a rifle. They both fire, and the streamer's bullet breaks Amon's arrow. The streamer is shocked because his bullet was blocked by the bow. The viewer thinks it might be a bug, finding it funny, while the streamer finds it annoying. They aim at each other again, and the same thing happens. The guy's freaking out, wondering if he's really pulling all this off with just a bow. The chat, seeing the other bullet got blocked, figures Amon's just super skilled, not a hacker. The streamer spots Amon again, but Amon's got him in his sights too. This time, Amon's close enough and shoots an arrow at the guy's weapon. The kid finally beats the streamer, who realizes he only came in third. Still, the guy's thrilled, saying it was awesome. Another viewer suggests they should watch that bow guy again. The confused streamer wonders who this bow-wielding dude is and decides to spectate him. Meanwhile, Amon checks out the guy's loot, thinking he did a great job. The chat jokes he should just run and dodge like a normal person, but Amon warns that would give the opponent control, which he hates. Then, donations start pouring in, amazed by the kid's skills. Amon, looking around, thinks there's one person left and plans to thank them later, focusing on winning the match. Even though his fight was flashy, the other guy at the end was silent. Amon crouches to listen for footsteps, realizing the enemies nearby. He suddenly stands up, noticing something by some debris. The chat thinks he looks like a pro. Amon quickly grabs another arrow and shoots at the debris, revealing the enemy's location. The chat's blown away. The frustrated enemy says he just needed to hold on a bit longer to win and starts shooting at Amon. He figures this battle's gonna be annoying. Someone with a legendary helmet isn't easy to kill, so it'll be tough. Amon fires another arrow, hitting the enemy's shoulder, likely messing up his aim. But then, a smoke bomb appears, followed by an arrow grenade and a fire one. Amon wonders if stopping to heal would be a bad move. Amid the smoke, he hears a sound, quickly readies another arrow, and aims. Meanwhile, the enemy foolishly tries to heal in the smoke. Amon's arrow hits him again, and he can't shoot properly, needing a grenade. But his hand gets hit by another arrow. In the smoke, our hero appears, shooting another arrow at the guy, finally winning his first match. A system screen pops up, congratulating him with 31 total kills. The kid finally gets to celebrate his victory. Later, he logs out, thanking everyone who helped with the stream. He couldn't respond to all the donations but appreciates the strategies from everyone. Amon's shocked by a huge donation, thinking it's the biggest he's ever received. The viewers are surprised too, and another guy says it's what he earns at his part-time job. Kim, seeing the donation, thinks the nickname's familiar and checks the list of donors. Realizing the guy's on it, he figures they're not strangers, as both have been active for about 10 years. It might be good to ask if the manager's watching. Meanwhile, Amon admits he doesn't know how to react to the donation. Another viewer suggests he should keep the stream going a bit longer. Without delay, our main guy jumps back into the game. He looks around, finds his bow, and realizes his reputation is on the line. He shoots an arrow into the sky, does 3 flips, and just before finishing, thanks for a donation. But surprise, the arrow doesn't kill him. Kim, watching, thinks Amon should wrap up the stream. Amon wonders if the 3 flips were just for show, and then the stream ends. The chat is frustrated, and he explains he has a bad headache. Kim jokes that Amon was doing so well he forgot how to end the stream, so he had to shut it off manually. Later, we see Amon in the bath, thinking he pushed himself too hard and that's why he's so tired. He thought the solo match would be easier, but that grenade was tough. Even at bronze rank, he couldn't get a perfect win, and reaching diamond would be a challenge. Still, he can't afford to be bad. Later, Kim asks if Bubblegum is famous, and Amon says yes, he used to watch him a lot. Kim reveals that the shooter Amon faced when there were only 3 left was that streamer, shocking Amon. Kim shows him a clip of the battle. Amon is amazed that his favorite streamer watched his broadcast, as that guy always comforted him during tough times at work. Amon stands up, and Kim asks where he's going since the forum's reaction is important. Amon says he's tired and needs a break. In bed, Amon thinks the streamer didn't mention him, assuming it was only significant to himself. He didn't expect recognition, and that was enough. He decides to check trending posts before sleeping and is surprised to see he's trending. The scene shifts to a girl watching a stream. She realizes it's late, and she hasn't eaten, but it doesn't matter. Watching streams makes everything disappear, including the person who put her in this mess. She enjoys the stream and takes notes. Hearing a notification, she sees more donations than usual and realizes she's no longer the top donor. She feels she needs to act but, as an editor, wants to be useful. She gets up, determined to do her best. She starts editing, feeling good about the video. There are many clips to use, and she hopes to make it viral, making it interesting even for those who missed it live. By the time she's done, it's morning. She's asleep with her monitor on, having sent Kim a message that the video is ready. A notification pops up, and many are eager to see Amon's stream. The surprise boy notes the fast chat. Kim sees over 1,000 people waiting, which is great for the premiere. Amon is amazed at how many people are eager to see the video. Kim, feeling nervous, thinks it must be really good, and Amon comments that the girl must be confident to post it. Soon, the video goes live, and they watch the reactions. Amon finds it more thrilling than the game itself. Even though he's not an editing expert, he can tell the video is top-notch, and even those who missed thinks the live stream might enjoy it. When the part where Amon faces 4 people comes up, he jokes that the guy looks like a fool. The chat is loving the video, and Amon notices it's way different from his live chat. When the grenade scene plays, the chat goes wild. Everyone is stunned by what Amon did. Watching the stream, Amon thinks the next part is his showdown with the previous streamer. During the live, meeting this streamer caused a forum frenzy, and he wonders if the chat will react the same way. And just as he thought, the viewers go nuts. Kim, checking his phone, tells Amon to look because the streamer's page is buzzing about him. The video is a hit, and the scene shifts to a man watching the stream, surprised it blew up. He's curious about who Amon is, as he's never seen him before. The streamer Bubblegum has been at it for over a decade, rarely taking breaks. Usually, meeting someone new doesn't get much attention, so he's puzzled why Amon's case is different. The unpredictability of viral moments is part of the job's charm. Seeing some info about Amon, the guy wonders if he should dig deeper. Shocked, he learns Amon has only been playing VR games for 3 weeks. He wonders if Amon dodged a bullet with an arrow. The chat is skeptical, thinking it might be fake. The guy admits the editing is great but questions why they mislead viewers by always streaming on the same platform. If it's to make people think they're in cahoots, he's annoyed, asking if the streamer is a joke. Still, he thinks it'd be interesting if they collaborated. Yet, he feels it's not enough and needs something to grab his audience's attention. Just then, he seems to get an idea. The scene shifts to Amon, excited that the streamer's page is buzzing about him. He's shocked they're talking about him on the forum, and Kim finds it amusing Amon likes a celebrity so much. Amon says the guy isn't exactly that, and Kim points out he's a streamer with 50,000 viewers per stream. Amon envies him because with so many viewers, it's harder to lose money than to spend it. Amon notes the guy lives well, probably spending his earnings on his 2 kids. Despite being the top streamer now, he wasn't always popular. He had an average sense of humor and a somewhat likable image. When they played the game, they couldn't even fake praise him because he lacks special talent. But his persistence and responsibility set him apart, helping him survive in the market. This reminds Amon of his youth with his grandmother and a loyal friend who was always there. Back to the present, Amon praises the girl for making his meeting with the streamer a big deal. Kim says the video hit 80,000 views in a few hours, and with his last video reaching 200,000, they might break that record. Amon thought it was amazing and went quiet about the message he saw. The viewers didn't believe in his skills. Kim picked up the phone and asked why he bothered reading those comments since they were just trying to bring him down. Amon said he already knew that and explained it made him stronger. Maybe because he had no family, their insults didn't bother him. Kim thought he understood why Coach Park didn't like Amon. He was scared of a kid who didn't flinch at insults. Amon changed the topic, saying the issue was he wasn't ranked yet, so he needed to stream longer. Kim asked if he was sure he wouldn't overdo it. Amon said calling him a bronze genius was too much, and Kim agreed. With no other option, Kim accepted, and Amon said he'd play more games to reach higher ranks. After their chat, Amon looked at some stats. Kim thought the boy was really into it. Remembering when Amon said all this was just strength to him, Kim wondered what that meant. But he had to work and check his email. Kim was surprised to see they finally got an email. It was from the streamer they talked about before. It was a battle of skills, a salvation project for that streamer, and it would include Bubblegum. But Kim warned there was a condition. It had to happen after Amon reached diamond rank. Amon thought diamond was tough to get, but he wouldn't quit. Kim said he'd handle it by sending a message saying all was good. Later, Amon started her broadcasts, and viewers were thrilled because she began early. In seconds, the viewer count shot up. Amon introduced herself, saying she started early to announce her goal of reaching diamond rank. Surprised viewers said he'd die, but he disagreed. The viewers were shocked because they never thought that was his goal. Amon smiled, saying she'd hit diamond rank in 2 weeks. The chat said it was impossible, but Amon said it was likely based on her calculations. He was a new streamer who'd only played 2 games, so it seemed crazy. But he was confident in his shooting skills, and there was data to back it up. Even if he didn't know if others gave their best, his score was higher in the tutorial. Some might feel pressure from records, but not him. Breaking records was normal for him. He was happy to challenge himself at this level, excited to try new things with the thrill it brought. Without delay, he asked if they should start, thinking these were the moments he'd been waiting for. The scene cuts to Kim asking if Amon was nuts. Saying it was possible was madness, questioning if he really thought he could be top 10 in all games. This high-risk, high-reward style wasn't his thing. Still, he was surprised by Amon's daring side. Before, Amon was content being average, doing things at his own pace. He always had a sad look like it was okay if he didn't make it to the next day. But now, Kim saw the real Amon. Smiling, Amon said this was his game. He'd take more risks for bigger rewards. He'd make sure word spread, and companies would fear him, thinking he was doing it illegally. But Kim believed in him, wondering how he could say Amon couldn't do it. Amon is super determined, so he's sure he can hit diamond rank. The scene jumps to Amon with viewers asking if he has a plan to win all his matches. Amon says he'll start by sorting out his arsenal. The viewers think organizing the arsenal is a mess, but Amon warns he's bringing the bout back. As he approaches some debris, he opens a door, thinking no one's watching him because they're busy fighting. While rummaging around, he finds some daggers. Just then, someone grabs his hand, asking what he's up to. Amon doesn't hesitate and kicks the guy, but the guy's still standing, wondering how Amon's so strong. Meanwhile, Amon's holding his dagger. He throws it and takes out his first player, thinking how those baseball games in the past really paid off now. Memories flood back, not all great ones. Suddenly, a donation pops up, saying the best players win when no one has weapons, and Amon agrees. While Amon's got his system window open, someone sneaks up behind him. He's about to retreat, but Amon barely notices. Without delay, he charges at his enemy, who's shocked by Amon's speed. With his dagger, he makes his second elimination. Time passes, and many are lying on the ground. Amon's the last one standing, with weapons scattered everywhere. Grabbing gasoline, he jokes about it being for cars, wondering if it's okay. Then he uses a Molotov to torch all the rifles. The scene shifts, and Amon's on a motorcycle, saying he's moving to the next area. He speeds off, and a massive explosion happens. Amon easily takes first place with 50 kills. After all this, spectators start believing Amon can hit diamond rank in 2 weeks. Thanking everyone for donations, he says it's time for the next match. He knows he can't lose focus. This is just the start. The scene cuts to people analyzing, with many criticizing Amon. There are lots of negative opinions about his claim to reach diamond rank in 2 weeks from the start. But after his first match, opinions shift, wondering if it's possible. If this were poker, it'd be like an endless race. Kim, annoyed, asks who's posting clips of bronze players and if they enjoy it. Seeing a post, he goes silent. Criticisms against Amon continue, and Kim thinks it's expected and won't sway them. Still, there's nothing to do but prove his worth. The scene cuts to the broadcast, with a helicopter flying over an apartment. Players descend, and Amon's among them. Looking around, he spots 3 others. It's expected since everyone's heading to the first floor. No point in fighting barehanded at first. They ignore regular knives, aiming for rarer weapons. A guy trying to open a door wonders why he can't. He fiddles with it, but Amon blocks him, uninterested. The man asks what Amon's doing, but then gets attacked. Amon thinks he didn't die because the blade was dull. Another guy watching asks what Amon's doing, fighting with almost no weapon. Amon throws the knife again, hitting the guy. He makes another kill, saying that guy will probably try again, and the chat asks what he means. Amon, with his back turned, throws the knife, hitting the other guy. Frustrated, he wonders why he's doing this right at the start of the game. The main character says it's to rank up, then finishes him off. Amon notices 3 people nearby. The other guy tries to defend himself, saying he has no good loot. But Amon doesn't care, he just wants the elimination. Panicked, the guy runs but remembers he's on the top floor. He jumps and escapes the protagonist, but not for long. Amon appears above him and finishes him, saying his body absorbed the fall, so he took no damage. The chat warns there's a motorcycle behind him, and he spots it. Without delay, our hero grabs it and heads to a new spot. The scene shifts, and many players are already out. Another group mentions there aren't many left, so they should move on. Hearing something, a guy looks back and sees a maniac on a motorcycle coming their way. The chat notes he's too late to enter the arsenal, and those guys probably have great loot, but Amon doesn't care. Confused, the guy doesn't know what to do and gets run over by the protagonist, who then throws his dagger and makes another elimination. A spectator is surprised by what Amon does with the bike. Amon approaches to check the loot and is thrilled to find a bow, hitting the jackpot. Later, the scene shifts again, and a group talks about the fantastic loot. The weapons are rare, and it was worth the risk. Suddenly, an explosion occurs. A guy asks about the noise and realizes it's a fire. The system warns the smoke is spreading, so they should leave quickly. Frustrated, another guy tries to escape the smoke, asking not to block the way. But one of his companions gets killed, and he asks what happened. His colleague starts shooting, saying the guy went there to die. After many shots, he sees only eliminated players, wondering where the shot came from. Among them, a light appears. Meanwhile, Amon aims and shoots his arrow, hitting the enemy and making another elimination. The guy wonders where the shot came from and why he can't see it. Since the bullet came from another direction, it must be there. If he wants good items, he should go down to loot, waiting and using the fog to stay hidden. But then, someone throws a grenade at him. A huge explosion happens, and Amon makes another elimination. The boy emerges from the smoke, saying he shot just in case, surprised there was still someone there. Kim watches Amon's broadcast, noting the forums and internet love the boy. As more people talk about him, some won't like him, but it means Amon is growing. The more people are interested, the more his earnings increase. As long as he proves his skills, even critics will recognize his abilities. Everything that helps him grow becomes income. After this, 30 minutes pass, and Kim is still excited. Placement games are key in the game, and results vary based on your score. There are 5 placement games in Giant Battle, and winning all gets you at least a gold ranking. And just like that, Amon's path to ranking up got a whole lot smoother. Watching from above, our hero realizes he doesn't need to take big risks in crucial games. He needs a helmet to win smartly. As he heads up, he wonders how crowded the arsenal might be. Suddenly, he spots another player, someone he's faced before. Kim mentions Amon ended up with a Diamond 1 ranking streamer in a placement game, questioning if that's even possible. A fight seems inevitable when they land, and if Amon loses, he'll drop in rank. That would end his journey to Diamond. A flashback hits Kina, reminding her she's finally doing something she loves, but all she can do is watch this crucial moment unfold. The scene shifts to the broadcast, with Amon eyeing the player who says they'll meet below. In response, our protagonist boldly flips the bird. Kim laughs, calling him crazy, but confident Amon won't lose. His job now is to make Amon's win epic, hitting the streamer where it hurts. But it would look bad if he taunted the guy and then lost. Despite thinking it's madness, he's sure he won't lose, even if it ruffles some feathers. Back in the game, the streamer is frustrated. Amon is laser-focused, determined to end the battle. Kim talks about the upcoming fight, inviting viewers to join Amon's live stream. It's a showdown between a rising star and a seasoned pro. The scene cuts to the protagonist, aware it's his last placement game, and any slip-up could cost him his diamond rank. Meanwhile, the streamer watches Amon, feeling odd about being in a broadcast with 5,000 viewers. He's using the same strategy for 3 matches, making his moves predictable. His skills are diamond rank, 3 tiers above Amon's goal, but he risks losing a lot if he fails. He's sure he's studied Amon's patterns. Suddenly, he notices Amon getting closer. Spectators see the battle about to start midair. The streamer wonders what Amon will do, expecting something outrageous. Amon retorts he won't become a diamond, asking who lost to a bronze rank. The streamer gets mad, and their parachutes tangle, sending them crashing down. Amon quickly gets up and runs. Surprisingly, the streamer follows, and Amon realizes a bare fight isn't ideal since he's a newbie. He searches for a weapon and finds a dagger. Coincidentally, the streamer finds one too. Amon throws his dagger, questioning if the streamer thought he wouldn't notice. The streamer narrowly dodges, retrieves the knife, and throws it back. The chat wonders if Amon will lose, but he dodges the attack. Defending seems pointless with another knife nearby. Whether spinning or not, he'll grab it. Shoy recalls his bow and catches the streamer's thrown dagger. Without delay, Amon charges, and the chat thinks he's gone nuts. The streamer grabs another dagger, thinking he just needs to block one hit. But Amon predicts his move and lands an attack. Amon secures his first elimination. Watching the broadcast, Kim is thrilled. The streamer is stunned, realizing he never expected to scream like that. He'd be scolded at home or punished if younger, but now he feels free. After the battle, forums buzz about Amon defeating a veteran streamer. Everyone's amazed by his skills. Being a star involves many things, but in sports and games, decision-making is key. Later, Amon wins the match with 47 kills. It's clear he has star potential, especially with his bow skills. Seeing the system screen, he checks his completed missions, ready to claim rewards for his placement victories. Amon is surprised you haven't liked this video yet. Subscribe and hit the bell for more content. Until next time, bye bye.